This is part 2 of our Chainsaw Man series review. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, make sure to watch part 1 before you watch this. We're also going to be announcing the giveaway winners. We each have a copy of Volume 1 of Chainsaw Man. We each bought our own to give away to those 3 winners who followed the specific rules we gave them. And we will be announcing those winners at the very end of this video. So if you did enter, make sure to watch to the very end to see if you are one of the winners. And also, of course, this is going to be very spoilery. This is going to be extremely spoilery for Chainsaw Man specifically. Actually, for all of Chainsaw Man. It's going to be from the beginning to chapter 90. So if you want to just see more spoilery stuff from the first half of the series, you can go check out part 1. But this is going to be all of everything else until chapter 90. So again, thank you guys for watching and enjoy the episode. Welcome back to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Josh Magic Michaels, and today, as always, I am joined by
Megan Perrine.
Cody Spooky.
Oh, there he is.
You're really sticking to the spooky thing, huh?
Spooktober. I'm in the holiday spirit.
Can't wait for October to be over. All right, in today's episode, this is going to be a part 2 video where we're going to be reviewing chapters. What chapter did we leave off of? This is going to be part 2 of our Chainsaw Man full volume done review.
We left off on chapter 23, which was almost done with volume 1, and we still have about 5 volumes left.
We're going to power through it in this episode. We're going to get all the way through chapter 90, I believe, right? Which is, as of recording this, the most current chapter.
It didn't come out. When did it come out? I read that it came out today. That's not. You read it before me.
Like the better translation did, yeah, but
yeah.
We only read legit translations when we hear volume 1, right?
Yeah.
We only read like official translations from the officials company.
Yeah.
And so in the last episode, if you haven't seen our part 1 video, you can click somewhere up here and that'll link you to part 1 of this video where we went through chronologically as best we could. I did drop a bombshell in that episode, and I'm not going to even say what it was because I want you to watch the first part of this if you haven't already. And where we left off was right around where I believe the chain gang, as we'll call them. You like it.
No, it's like I don't think you even remember where we left off.
I do. I remember it was where the chain gang, they all went to go eat dinner, like, the Avengers at the end of that first Avengers movie.
Yes, like a scene in a movie where people ate food, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But they didn't eat it the way they ate it. Like, they ate it the same way they ate it in Avengers.
No, they did not. In Avengers, they were quiet. No one said anything. In this one, they all said stuff. And
it was a rowdy bar. It was more like a bar setting.
Right.
But it's like a private room. I don't know.
They went to like a sushi place.
Drinking.
And they got beer.
It's the same thing. They went to go get food.
Could not be farther apart, both in ways of characterization and events happening. The only thing associated with it is that food existed in both of those scenes.
But do the Avengers get drunk, though? That's the difference.
Nope.
Yeah.
Thor gets pretty drunk.
No, he doesn't.
Right?
Later, when he's a drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. When people like Thor use alcohol to, have to not deal with their problems, some of the Avengers get pretty wasted.
Tony Stark.
Oh, yeah. Tony Stark's the fucking alcoholic, too. See?
What do you mean C?
I don't know. I just feel like you're attacking me.
No, you're just wrong, and you're trying so hard. You're like, okay, but besides the thing I was talking about, something else also happened.
Okay.
See, I got you. You fucking.
Okay.
This is another.
Okay.
All right, and you're supposed to be our guide in this episode too.
Yes.
And you're already coming in hot with a little bit of a fucking attitude. Okay.
How would that not make me the guide? That still makes me the guide, pointing out that you're being wrong about things.
Are you saying guy or guide?
Both?
Anyway, Cody, thank you for being our guide today, dude. So we left off, everybody's eating, not like in the Avengers.
No.
And that's not where we left off. Where we left off was Denji went home with Himeno. They almost had sex. Denji bailed, and then they agreed they were going to try to hook each other up with their crushes they had.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, Denji's found his place in the world. He's got a nice job and nice friends.
Yeah, at the time, and that was before I really knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, Megan is cosplaying as Himeno today,
yes,
right?
Yes. I have no comment about that interaction with Denji at all. Never
Yeah, can we
happened.
interview you real quick, Himeno? Now we are, we are from the bureau, and we are very aware that Denji is a 16-year-old child.
Which is the age of consent in Japan, which would be their equivalent of an 18-year-old, which would make it fine.
Whose side are you on, dude?
What do you mean? You were just wrong. You're wrong about it being a crime.
I'm wrong about everything in this episode?
Because you finally finished reading the manga.
It might be a crime morally.
Yeah.
Okay, so might I ask? Yeah, are you gonna die on that cross?
No.
Might I ask then, Miss Himeno? May I call you that? Now, what were you doing the night of, let's just call it October 23rd, when you were hanging out with said Denji and alcohol was involved?
I kind of blacked out, so I don't really remember. All I remember is there was throw up involved, and that's kind of my thing. So, yeah.
All right, her story checks out, dude. She's fine. She didn't do anything to any kids, dude.
No.
Because 16 is apparently, according to Cody, the age of consent in Japan, and you would fucking know that, you weirdo.
It's irrelevant to the character's age is 16, and it's a coming of age story, and it's about a kid growing up. So
Yeah,
just entering adulthood makes his age actually very relevant.
And also, Himeno is not the only one trying to get at Denji. That's an older woman, so that's a thing too.
Yeah, but let's just say some other people have ulterior motives, and I don't think Himeno had any ulterior motives. I think she just wanted to get in the sack, you know.
Yeah.
But she didn't. She didn't end up doing anything with Denji, and that leaves us where, Cody? Where do we pick up from after the events of the alleged altercation?
I didn't like that bit. They go about a normal work day.
Mm-hmm. Cody, you're supposed to be the guide.
Do you need me to explain every fucking thing that happens?
I need you to guide me through the fucking
So,
thing. How
they
are
have
we
a
just gonna not
normal
talk
work
about it? Am I
day.
just supposed to go like this? Okay, and you're gonna just fucking say plot point after plot point after plot point. And
That's what you're asking me to do. Is
No,
just
but
say
wait,
the
wait,
exact
wait, wait,
I'm
plot.
asking you to steer the ship.
Okay, so they have a work day. What happens in the work day?
They get targeted by yeah. Okay, you're right. Let me follow through the entire manga for you.
So yeah,
'Cause
they
you-
have
This
a
is
work.
what you
Once
wanted
again-
to do. This is what I asked you.
Because I had to take notes to make sure you didn't go, oh yeah, the gun devil. Let's talk about that. Let's just cut right to the ending of like volume fucking 7.
There's
Oh,
a
I'm
lot.
sorry. Go ahead.
Thank
I
you.
mean, there's a lot that happens in between after Himeno, the whole Himeno thing. I like is right after that. That's when they meet Kishibe, right?
There's a whole cast of characters that they meet after that. I do think it happens very shortly after that night, because that is when and I'm gonna get some of these names wrong, but that is when.
Okay, I'll actually. Okay, yeah.
What are you making faces for?
You don't remember anything that happened in the manga?
No,
Yes,
we
I do.
We're trying to talk about it.
They get attacked by people who are working for the gun devil.
Yeah, the knife guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
get attacked while having dinner. Like some of the members of the devil hunting squad, they're in groups of like 2 or 3 now.
In the restaurant.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember. I can
Yes.
tell you play by play everything that happened.
You can. And
Yes,
it's like
I can.
I
Dude.
have to spell everything out. Yeah.
Josh is.
The gun devil is he hired the snake lady, the snake devil lady,
Yes.
and the knife guy, because the knife guy, guess what? Spoiler alert, he is the grandson of one of the Yakuza that Denji killed at the beginning of the series. What now, Cody?
There's a bunch of
There's not a bunch of plot before that. And if there is, then explain it. That's what the point of being a guide is.
I'm like actually confused as to how you're doing this. This is never an issue in any of the other episodes.
This is when I say, Cody, be a guide us through, and then you say, do you want me to go plot point by plot point? You want me to spell manga? And then when I jump to a point that is apparently skipping over lots of things, you go, I don't know what you want me to do, dude.
The Yakuza kills a bunch of devil hunting members.
Oh, yeah. I remember
God,
that.
I'm like, fuck. I wish you were right. I wish I was overreacting.
It's not that you're overreacting, it's that you're not taking the lead. And so when I do,
guys.
like, chronologically mess something up, You can't come at me and say like,
That's
"Oh, you're
true.
skipping over all this shit," because I told you, take the reins, take the lead, walk me through it.
That's what I did. And then you go like, okay, well, yeah. So they fight the gun devil.
That's not what I did. That's not what I
Okay,
did.
so they killed a bunch of Yakuza members and somehow related to the guys who knew Denji, and he's like, "I fucking know you, you stupid ass bitch." And he's like, "Guess what? I'm a chainsaw now, bitch." And that's all I need to know.
And that's
Right?
what I skipped over.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Exactly.
Okay, I do have some real questions about that though, because I'm gonna need your help because I did read the whole series, right? That was the bombshell, by the way. Spoiler alert for the first episode of this series. I didn't read the whole thing, and I have since read the whole thing. And my I guess question to you, a lot of things were a little fuzzy to me. One of my questions is, they've outlawed guns because by allowing people to have guns, it's giving the gun devil more power, right? But there are still Yakuza and some other private devil hunters or people who work for the Yakuza that have guns, and that is to like sow fear into people, right?
And according to the theory, is they got guns by making a pact with the gun devil.
Yes.
So the idea is that like they made a pact with the gun devil to kill these devil hunters, and in exchange it like just gave them guns because you can't even manufacture them anymore.
Yeah, and so yeah, that was something that was kind of confusing to me too, because I believe one of the Yakuza members says that he offered the gun devil money or something, and he I think makes a comment on how even devils need money or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how I felt about that. Dude.
Well, that's like how dragons hoard gold, and you're like, what are you buying?
I guess that's a good point, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like devils, like not the ones that live in houses. not like power. Like power. What does power need money for?
Yeah,
Food.
Yeah.
but power can just steal food. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Power doesn't need any money. She'll just fuck somebody up
Yeah.
for no reason. Okay, so then they get ambushed, right? And that's where everybody in the train gets murked. They
Yeah.
get fucking
Straight up murked.
they get shot up, right? And at this point, a lot of people die, but also I'm in on a lot of the jokes from last time too. A lot of the jokes that I didn't get,
Okay.
I'm in. And guess who survives? Makima survives, dude.
Dude, that's when I fucking knew. Like literally that moment when I texted Cody when I was reading, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
She's like, no, Makima.
Yeah, when I liked her, I was like, "No, Makima, oh my god!" And this bitch just comes out, and I was like, "Oh no, I know something's up with her. Like I know she's not."
Because she gets shot in the face.
Yeah, she gets shot in the face, and
Yeah.
I knew that you can't. There's no going back from that. So I knew something was.
I knew
Up with her.
something was up with her too when they don't show how she survives immediately.
Yeah.
Right? She just all of a sudden walks off the train and these bodies are massacred. But I always had a feeling about her, and I feel like you guys had to have had a feeling about her too.
I just assumed she was another, like, she has a contract or something that, like, regenerates health.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to skip ahead, but we do see at some point, kind of what I thought was her only ability that she had contracted with a devil. And then we'll get into that. But then, obviously more stuff happens.
People can make contracts with multiple devils, which is what
Yeah.
Aki has to do at one point.
And what I learned too is that one devil hunter can make a deal. A devil can make a deal with multiple devil hunters. So the fox devil is contracted to like 3 other devil hunters.
That's sort of like, I guess that's just a base power you get. You just contract with the fox devil.
Cone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which is still one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
the visual. It's like,
I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to do, Cody. Yeah.
do it.
That was pretty quick, dude. I did it
That
pretty
was quick. You fucking got me.
Yeah, I've been practicing.
Cone.
Gone. Okay, so tell us what happens after. Now does the blade guy and
Because the squad that's sent to take out the Denji squad,
yeah.
which they shoot one of the squad members, and Power is the quickest to react, which I thought was I like her character, so I like when she like shows through and fights, because when everyone's still reacting, Denji just gets shot in the head, and then someone else gets shot in the chest, and then you just see Power like stand there, and then she's just gone, and she's already on the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why, but I felt like in the previous episode when we were talking about Power, I felt this energy from you guys saying like, oh, maybe Power's your favorite character right now, but she might not be towards the end of the series. But I gotta say, She's only progressively gotten more
That's
impressive
not-
to me.
that-
That's
no,
not
you-
the vibe.
no.
That was a different.
That was a
It's
di-
a
that
vibe that you know that why the vibe was the vibe because you know already now that the vibe is it's a different vibe than
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
You've got it.
I think I get it
No.
now.
And I'm pretty sure it was Makima that we were talking about, not Power.
I always knew Makima was full of shit, though.
Really?
Always.
I
Always,
didn't.
dude. And I'll tell you why. Because I've had to deal with a lot of Makimas myself.
Ooh.
Okay?
Yeah.
A lot. And to me, you know, they're all Makimas, you know what I mean? Except for Megan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Himeno.
Himeno.
Yes, that was my Megan.
yeah. And so that's where they come in, and that's where we find out all the stuff, right? About him being the Yakuza's grandson
Yeah.
and the snake.
And he has just made he's just a hybrid now too.
Yeah, which is the first time that we realize that there are other hybrids, right? That's the first one we've seen.
Yeah, because they mention that Denji is like rare, but I mean it's which I like too. He wasn't like oh, this never happens. This thing he has with Pochita, this makes him like very special. It's like he's rare,
Yeah.
but you can find him.
He's rare in the sense that it's like the devil was just like, show me your dreams and we're good.
I don't
Like,
think you understand that they were buds.
That's what I'm saying. Like devils and I mean, are they necessarily buds? Like this bud. You know, the hybrid, was he a bud or did he have to give something dire?
The
to,
sword?
Yeah, in order to become that.
I would assume they made like he found another devil that was like, okay, you'll become a hybrid with the sword devil, but you have to kill. Give me the chainsaw's heart and then kill the devil hunting squad.
See, exactly. I had to give something drastic in, exchange in order to be that. Where Denji and Pochita was just like, we're buddies. I'm gonna just let you do this because you're gonna die right now.
Yeah, I do think, too, that's the first time that we hear that there are other hybrids that want Denji's heart. That's the first time that they mention specifically wanting his heart, and then that opens that sort of mystery.
Because at first it's like just the Eternity Devil, and you're like, oh, I guess devils just eat each other's hearts.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, everyone wants his heart.
Yeah.
And
They want a little piece of Pochita.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, too. Is this where, because, again, I read it all at once. Like, I powered through the entire series at once. So it gets jumbled in places. But is this also where we are introduced to more members of the different...
we're introduced to Division 4.
Division 4. We got Spider Devil. We got Devilman of Violence. We got Beam, Shark Devilman. And then we got Angel Devil.
And I'm a sucker for any sort of like montage of character introduction.
Oh, yeah, that
for,
was
like,
great.
For a gang.
Same.
Even in that Transformers movie when they did that, I was like, I was still like, all right, this is a good movie.
Yeah, and I love the little exposition dump they get. Like, hey, you might have to fight the members of Division 4. Let me walk you through all of them. And then we get cut to these like panels of all of them.
And they're already in the setting where they're fighting all the zombies, right? That's where we
because the Yakuza, they're still packed. They still have a pact with the zombie devil. Yeah. So we'll just unleash zombies on them. And as far as I can tell, the zombie devil had to have been the dumbest one you could make a pact with.
Yeah. They're so easy to kill. They're just sliding through them. Even Power's just having a grand old time. She's like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, Denji even locked himself back in the elevator and was like, I'm gonna let Power take care of it.
Yeah,
because he's
she's
like, don't make a sound, and she's like, my name is Power.
And she just goes for it.
And he's like, okay, I'll let her.
I do think something about those introductions feels like a heist movie too.
Yeah,
when they're describing all the characters. Do you guys have a favorite Division 4 character at this point that was introduced?
Of that squad,
this point.
It's a hard call between the Shark Fiend and the Violence Fiend.
Really?
I would say Violence. I like his design better.
He's got overhaul vibes just because the mask. Yes, but still.
He's got
Totally
the bird beak, and other
overhaul.
than that, he's just wearing normal clothes, and his whole thing is he's like doing karate.
And I love his little this is kind of skipping forward. Is it skipping forward? Yeah, his little conversation with Kobeni, and he gets her ice cream, and I'm like, she's like, you're not violent at all. Why do they call you Violence? And I'm like, I love you.
He's a rare fiend that like kept the memories of the corpse that it took over, which means it basically just became that guy, and that guy just also luckily turned out to be a chill dude. So and the fear of violence is like really strong. That's like a basic concept of violence.
Yeah.
So that should be a very powerful fear. And then it just gets him put into the body of a guy who's like, I don't even want to fight.
But also they say that the reason he has to wear that mask is because he's constantly being pumped with like poison, so it
It's
like
poison
weakens him.
because normally he not only should he be like stronger if he wasn't in that person's like mental, but like he also is just insanely strong. So they poison him to make him like manageable
Yeah.
as a squad member, and that's what the beacon's like, just feeding him poison to weaken him.
Yeah.
He's like the opposite of Bane.
He is the opposite of Bane.
You like the darkness, Batman. I fucked up.
Born into
yeah,
it.
no, yeah. I was
And
born.
you're like, Tom Hardy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's
Tom
not.
That's not.
Hardy.
Bane
That's
is
not what
Mexican,
Bane
dude.
sounds
Yeah,
like
Bane
at all.
is Mexican.
No, why does he do such weird voices?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
don't
liked
know.
it too. I liked it though. It was funny.
It was funny, but
it was
yeah.
very funny.
I don't know who my favorite is of that group, but am I forgetting anybody? It was Violence, it was Beam, it was the Spider,
And Angel.
and Angel.
Yeah.
I kind of think, for me, and this person grew on me, but Angel.
Yeah, definitely Angel. Definitely Angel. He's adorable.
The
He is so adorable.
The Angel becomes one of the best characters, I
Yeah.
would say, but I like the personality of Violence in the beginning more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I do think that the Spider hybrid takes a back seat. Like, she's
Oh, yeah.
never
Yeah.
really prominently shown.
And she looks too similar to fucking when Santa Claus comes in, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
later. But I'm just like, why
Yeah.
did they? Why,
She does look very similar to Santa Claus.
Totally, and the hair. I mean, I love her. I wish we got to see more of her, because that first one, the montage when they're introducing, and she's just like all creepy.
Yeah,
I was
she
like,
has,
she's fucking
like,
awesome.
The 8 dagger legs that she's just
Yeah.
shredding zombies
And
with.
people are scared of spiders, so she's probably
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
strong.
Maybe there's a butterfly demon for Megan out there somewhere, you know?
Stop.
And I did find out that's not a joke at all.
Oh, yeah,
Her
Megan did
fear of
tell me.
butterflies, yeah, it's legitimate. Will cause her to freak out. I thought like, oh, okay, that's cute. No, she's like afraid, and I kind of get it because
You get the fear
Yeah,
of it?
it was disgusting, Josh. It was fucking
a
disgusting.
butterfly fell from the sky and just started crawling towards us.
And its wings were like, it was. I don't even want to think
It
about
was
it. I don't
yeah.
even want to think about it. It was fucking disgusting. You could see the antenna. It was so fucking long.
Yeah, it was like fluffy.
Stop.
Yeah. So
Oh my
the
God.
spider devil's thing is it has like 8 dagger legs. The violence devil's just a strong guy who does like hua! And then
Yeah.
the shark fiend, he can he's got like a little shark head, and then he can like transform into more
Yeah.
or less shark as it goes on.
He's great.
And then Angel can like summon weapons from his halo.
So cool, man. From a design point, too. Like, seeing the halo, like him stepping away from the halo, and then the halo, like a sword falling out, or him pulling a sword out, or whatever weapon he's pulling out. So badass. There are so many panels in this where I can't wait for them to be animated.
Mhm.
I
know.
can't wait to see it.
And the audio that could come with that, like a holy sound is like usage 10 years. Well, yeah, he like summons years
Yeah,
to this is a power level for each weapon.
yeah. It's so badass. And we meet all of them in this like heist style introduction, and then that's when Cody take the reins, dude.
Oh yeah, well Denji, Power goes to fight like so there's the 4 new division members, and they're
Yeah.
fighting like a level of zombies on their own.
Yes.
And then Power, she just decides to fight her own like level,
Yeah.
like without anyone helping. Denji's like, I'm not wasting my time with that, and then he just keeps going up the elevator.
Yeah.
And then he gets confronted by the sword hybrid,
And that's when they have their first all-out
their first real fight.
battle. Yeah.
And then the sword devil's like, he's like, you killed my grandfather, don't you feel bad? And he's like, not really. It's like, yeah, that
Yeah.
your
no.
he's like, my grandfather was the nicest guy in the world. He's like, he killed a child.
He was a dick.
Yeah, he was the leader of the Yakuza.
Yeah.
He was like, he was so generous to me. He's like, yeah,
Family. It makes sense.
it's like, you know, what was it, like, Jesse James?
I've heard of Jesse James, but like I don't know him outside of the name.
Yeah, like a bank robber, and he's like famous, and his family. You can find interviews where his family's talking about, well, he was actually very generous with his money, and it's like he killed hundreds of innocent people, but like his family's just like, well, people don't know he actually had a soft side to him.
So he's bad?
Yes.
yeah.
Right, because he killed a bunch of people.
Yes.
Yeah, innocent people. Yeah,
Yes.
but it's portrayed as like, the people who were who got
Yeah.
the money, who benefited from that, were like, I mean,
No,
very misunderstood
he's
figure.
so good.
Can we say that maybe Steve Jobs killed a bunch of people indirectly?
Oh wait, were you talking about like Jesse James as one person? Oh, I thought you were talking about Team Rocket.
Oh my god,
Jesse and James. Or wasn't there a guy who like fixed motorcycles that called himself Jesse James?
No.
lots of people can do that. Yeah,
Lots of people
there's
have the
probably
name
a guy
Jesse
who
James.
fixed motorcycles that did that. Yeah.
Makes sense. It's a good motorcycle.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. There's probably a guy who fixed motorcycles.
My point is, can't we say that there are other people throughout history who have indirectly harmed people, yet we deify them, such as maybe a Steve Jobs? And I'm not saying he's a bad dude.
We can, but Jesse James did not indirectly harm people. He shot them.
He did it. So
That's
he did it
the
himself.
most direct you can get is murder,
Yes.
Right.
which is what the Yakuza leader did. He murdered people.
Yeah, he did. He did. And this is when we get to see the snake. We don't really get to see her power at first because it's mostly between him and is it a knife devil? Is it a?
I think it's like a katana devil or a sword devil. I mean, and he has the dumbest activation I've ever. Everyone, there's more hybrids you see, and they all have like a cool activation. Denji's is the best, where it's like, well, maybe
Denji's
it's
is the best.
top 3, where he's like rip a cord from his chest. You see other things people do that's like, oh, relevant to their power. And the sword devil, he like goes like this, and he like pop, then he pops his hand off, and a sword comes out, and then he becomes a sword devil.
Yeah, he pops his fake hand off, and there's a little blade under there. At first, I thought like, that's it. That's all he's got. He's just an amputee with a.
Well, maybe it's
blade.
just because when you put a sword in like a case and then you take it out of the case, that might be the case.
His body is the sheath, Cody.
Well, yeah, but like I would figure if he like ripped his arm off or something and he unsheathed.
Dude, if someone could pull him out by the neck, right? And they pull him by his neck, and then there's just a blade in his body.
Oh yeah.
Popped his
Oh yeah.
yeah,
A lot of heads coming off in Chainsaw Man too.
Yeah.
I just gotta say that.
Yeah,
real
a lot
quick.
of.
Well, I think in a world where like, oh, if that person has even a little bit of blood, they could end up regenerating entirely. You gotta like go for the kill.
Oh, and let's just talk about fucking Makima and her power. You see that bitch's power.
This is the first battle you get to see that power, right? Or is this also where?
Because
Spoiler alert! But is this also where?
That was
that
before.
comes later because she's still part of the surviving squad.
Oh yeah.
Kobeni's partner. She was only partnered with one guy. They're doing like they're just interviewing like a haunted house like case, and then like an old woman goes to like shoot her, and her partner takes the shot.
Yeah.
She's just like.
Yeah.
I was gonna quit.
Which I did see, and I hate to keep bringing these dudes up, but they're so funny that RDC channel, they just released a sketch about that, like relationships in anime be like. I know those are your favorite kind of memes. Anything be like. But it was this sketch where these two anime characters are sitting on a bench together, and he's like, "Hey, what's your name?" And he's like, "My name's so and so," and he goes, "My name's so and so," and he's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna walk and get some coffee. You want to go with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's go." And they run into a foe. And then the foe goes to kill him, and the guy jumps in front of him, and he's like, "Say goodbye to my son for me." And he's like, "Your son? I just met you. Like, why are you taking a bullet for me?" And on their way there to the coffee shop, they bump into some guy, and they're walking. They like hit his shoulder, and so that other guy dies for him. And then he's like, "All right, well, that dude's dead. I guess fucking kill me then, dude. Kill me." And so the guy goes to kill him again. He's like, "Finishing move." And then the guy who he bumped into jumps in front of him, and he's like, "You were always so nice to me." Like when everybody was, it's just them making fun of that. But I did think that too, because like, how strong was their relationship before he jumped in front of her?
Well, they were members of like a squad. I mean, that's like being surprised that like two like army buddies would take a bullet for one another.
Yeah, and she was just also like.
Yeah, that doesn't really apply to.
But
this
they weren't very close in the hotel, is what I'm saying. They didn't seem to have that.
He was,
relationship.
from what I can tell, he was just the guy who would take a bullet for his partner. That seemed like.
She's just a lot too. She's very like.
And
I think if anyone was going to inspire the urge to protect, it would be Kobeni.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
so far she's done nothing. She like
she always gets protected.
she feebly attempted to stab Denji, and then got like beaten up.
I also don't know if he's the type of guy who would do that because he doesn't he say he's going to retire anyway? Like he's about to put in his resignation, right?
They both were.
Yeah,
after
they were
what
gonna
happened.
quit to, like at the same time.
So I just didn't think he would be willing to take a bullet for her if he was like on his way out.
I mean, if you don't understand the concept of self-sacrifice, I don't know what to tell you.
I would
Yeah, I know.
I would take a bullet for you, Cody.
Well, thank you. But I want this to be clear.
Not return.
I would not take a bullet for anyone.
Not even for me. After I said I'd take a bullet for you.
Why would I have to? You just took a bullet for me. Would I got to push you out of the way after you went to go take the bullet?
No,
just take it
I'm
back.
saying-
Just take it
I'm-
back.
Yeah, I'm saying, what if there was a different situation where you were?
You could just say I wouldn't then.
Yeah, I take it back. I wouldn't take a bullet for you.
Yeah.
That's smart because your life is your own. You shouldn't give it up for someone else's.
I'd take 3 for you. I bet you feel real bad now, huh?
No.
You get shot. He gets shot once, and then be like, "Shoot me again!
Yeah.
Shoot me again for Cody!"
And he's like reloading his gun. And I've walked away.
I'm like, Cody, where are you going? Look at all these bullets I'm taking for you. And then what would you do?
I would be like, you can run.
I'll never run from anything. I'll face it as long as we face it together.
And then the music is amping up. And
Yeah. We made each other a promise.
I never promised that. That was all you.
Yeah, that sounds like a very touching story.
Yeah.
We should have our own
That's
anime.
called the Requiem of Josh and Cody.
Yeah. Someone animate that.
Please.
Someone animate that. Yeah, so he takes a bullet for Kobeni, and at the same time, we're also seeing Makima's power.
Her meeting. Is that before or after?
That's what she does after she regenerates and kills her assassins.
Yes.
She's like, "Oh no, they missed me," and then she meets up with her squad. Like, "Okay, I gotta go do something right now." And she takes, I think Aki and someone else to the top of a mountain. They blindfolds everyone, and there's just a bunch of people lined up, on their knees tied up. And she goes to one's like, "Say so and so's name." He says, "So and so," and then she does a bunch of little.
Jutsus.
Yeah, and then the Yakuza's something's off, and then they explode.
Yeah, they all explode. That's the craziest. She just could go like this, and they just explode in her grips.
But how badass was that? That was
It was
so
awesome
badass.
Yeah.
because we had no idea. We hadn't seen her power yet. I was just like, oh, she's a higher up. We don't know if she's a devil. We don't know, because it didn't make any sense.
And that's sort of the division's oh, we're back because Denji he lost that fight with the
Yeah.
Sword Devil.
Yeah.
Because it nothing personal to him that. I guess that's the Sword Devil's power, is it nothing personal.
What do you mean?
He goes to crouch and he kind of does a sword dab, and then Denji's like, "What are you doing?" And then he just teleports behind Denji and rips him up, and then they fight on a train, which is always amazing.
Always cool.
And the train system just boop boop. Due to a devil fight, we will now be evacuating the train. Please step off.
It was kind of cool too at this point, seeing Makima's power, thinking that was her only power, right? And also seeing how many rules that it didn't seem like an overpowered power to have, because there were all these stipulations. She had to have people that were willing to be sacrificed or had no choice in their being sacrificed.
They were death row inmates that she
death
got.
row with life sentences specifically. She had to have those people, and she had to have the names of the people. And so I liked that. It was just the right amount of rules for it to make sense.
Yeah, wasn't she at that meeting to get the names?
That's when she
With
went
the
to
eyeballs?
when she went to go shake down that
Yes,
Yakuza
yes,
guy.
yes.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that came after.
They came after her power?
I
remember it being they show her power, and then she meets with the guy, I think, and then the power comes up again when they're just outside of, they're doing something near a van or something, and then they get splatted.
I'm not 100% sure, but I do think that makes sense.
It's yeah, it's all together in that area.
Yeah, something happened in which she whipped out a bag of eyes and was like,
Yeah, that's when I knew she was crazy.
yeah.
I mean, I've been known. But then also, this is around the time that Himeno, right, and Aki,
Get together.
They fight the snake devil.
yeah, get together. That's sad because they never did get
No, they never
together.
did.
Yeah. Look at Megan's costume for the spoiler.
Oh, don't look at me.
Because they come in to reinforcements back up. The cavalry's here. Aki uses his cursed devil on the sword guy, and it's if he gets 3 hits on someone, he gets to summon the cursed devil. But using it takes up years of his life.
Yeah.
And then it summons this horrible demon that grabs the sword guy and kills him, but the snake lady just revives him.
Yeah, and how are we feeling about Aki at this point? Like, I feel like at this point he was introduced as someone who was like this, and not how would you
Debbie
describe
Downer,
him? A Debbie Downer,
hater,
hater,
no fun, Aki.
He was there to kind of keep them in line, and it was this boring dude. And at this point, I feel like is when I start like really caring about him.
I agree. I definitely agree. It broke my heart seeing him cry in that hospital room.
Oh yeah,
yeah, totally. Because
dude.
he's fine, and then he just breaks down, and it's so sad. Because that was like she was worried about losing him.
Well, because they do this thing that they do, and they kind of did it in Naruto too, and I really loved it back then when they did it. Is there's just this like passing of the guard kind of thing, and it's like very symbolic through cigarettes, right? And this thing of, and that's kind of exactly how it happened in Naruto. There was this guy Shikamaru and his like sensei, I guess, right? Used to smoke cigarettes all the time. Shikamaru never smoked cigarettes, and then when Asuma got killed, that's his like sensei's name. His cigarette was still lit on the floor, and then Shikamaru picked it up and started smoking it. And then Shikamaru now always smokes cigarettes. And so
nicotine addiction.
yeah,
the concept of of smoking cigarettes, of being peer pressured into doing it.
Peer pressured, and also they're just sentimental.
Yeah, if you're gonna smoke cigarettes, make sure it's because someone died.
No, I refer to the smell of cigarettes. It just reminds me of my dad. Like that, I just smell cigarettes, and I'm like, oh, that's my dad, and I'm like, that's a weird scent to be sentimental
that's
about.
Cool, though. I like that though.
Yeah.
And your dad's still alive, so it's weird to be sentimental about it.
I'm not.
I mean, you could go see him after you smell a cigarette.
Yeah, no,
you know?
I know that. I know that.
I'm starting to think that you don't. But I do think that it is like sentimental, and it is sweet, and it is nice, and the way it was done here was beautiful.
And because Aki, like, he doesn't have that long of a lifespan left, because he's like he's been making so many very short term ideas of like what to pay for a contract that he's just like, I think he has like 4 years left by this point. So it's like, dude,
he has 2 at this
2
point.
years left. Yes, it's like smoke.
it.
What does it matter? What does it matter if you just start smoking right now?
Yeah, their relationship. That was. I mean, that's when I was like, oh wow, that one hit me a little bit. That was for Aki. I felt more bad for Aki.
I'm so glad you said that, because I did feel way worse for Aki than I did for Himeno.
Yeah.
And it was touching to see her sacrifice literally everything.
Yeah, she offers her ghost devil because at first the ghost devil's like, I can't do this, and it's like, I offer you my everything, and it forms a smile and is like, okay, and it like just starts consuming bits of her
piece by piece. Until, I mean, arm, leg, until she's just clothes on the floor. And like you said, I felt way worse for Aki.
Yeah.
Because at this point we're seeing a lot of Aki's flashbacks with her, and we're getting to know like how much she meant to him, which I do feel like maybe would have carried more weight had we known that prior. But I feel like they're giving us this information like as she's dying, we're seeing these kind of flashbacks.
And that makes you feel more for him. Rather than like if they like went through it all, like it was just like him realizing like, oh, this is it, you know?
Yeah. And then we cut to that scene that you're talking about in the hospital where he gets the letters.
Yeah.
That was so
sad. Was in her, she was trying to I think she was messaging Aki's.
No, she was writing the letters to her sister.
Oh yeah, how do I get Aki to quit the division?
Yeah. Like, so I really want him to quit.
Yeah. Really.
Because Aki's just a good dude that just, like, he is consumed by revenge, but at the same time, there is this, like, human side of him that starts caring about people around him.
After this,
yeah. And he doesn't necessarily, like, but he doesn't care about himself. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about his life.
Yeah.
And the result of that is people around him start suffering because he doesn't care. That now the people that care about him, you know, he thought he could find comfort in like not caring about things, but that was just, now he's suffering knowing that the people close to him are suffering from it.
Yeah, man,
and
dude,
he cries.
And he cries, and I felt for him so much. And then
and there's
Denji comes in and he's like, I went to go get a manga. I forgot in there. I saw him crying. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just not gonna go in there anymore. Yeah. And then is that where he meets the angel devil?
Yeah, there is like one scene with Kobeni that because Denji gets beaten, like he gets like
he gets
cut in half.
Yeah.
And then it's like he's being captured right now. He's being dragged away. the snake devil and the sword guy are both there. And then you just see Kobeni like walking.
Yeah,
and
casually.
And she's just holding a knife. And she's like, are you the guys that killed my partner?
Are you guys the gunmen? She's like, they're like, yeah, bitch, what did you do?
And then
she's
the
like,
snake lady like summons the snake to eat her. And she's like, oh. And then she just like parkours over the snake. And then they say, what the hell is that? And then she cuts off one of their hands holding a gun, catches it midair, and then like shoots the sword guy like a bunch of times.
So bad.
Grabs Denji and bails, and then like they don't even bother chasing. They're like, all right, we lost that fight.
Yeah,
they drive
"Oh,
away, and then
shit."
she's like talking to Denji. She's like, I'm sorry I tried to kill you that one time, but I'm here now. Oh God, I'm getting worked up.
And I think that's where Denji. I think that's where Denji.
Sorry, I tried to kill you. What am I saying?
I think that's where Denji like kind of has this realization. I think it's at that point where he thinks back to all the women he's encountered.
That comes much later.
Oh, it comes much later? Okay, yeah. That
but
was super
that's
funny too.
that's one of the he's the second woman in his life that has either threatened to or tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Oh God, and then we got to get into that can of worms.
It's the
right
she's
now.
the third one. Power was the second one too.
Okay, is that next?
Yeah, so where do we go
The
after
whole
that, Cody?
is she next?
Who?
Rize?
Oh,
Are we there?
No.
Not
'Cause,
yet?
we're in the hospital and they like meet and like
Yeah.
they meet up with Angel, who's very like similar to Aki. Angel doesn't care about doing anything to the point that like eating ice cream is too much effort for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very
Nonchalant. Aloof. He
Really.
doesn't care. They describe him as being lazy, but he just doesn't care
He
about
just
anything.
doesn't want to do it. He's just like, I guess I'll.
and they hate each other. It's so funny.
That was kind of cool too. It was like endearing to see Aki try to befriend him again, or because he had to try to befriend Denji in Power, right? And that was hard, and he kind of did. But with Angel, he tries, and at a certain point, he's like, "Dude, I don't like you."
Yeah, he's like,
He's
I'm
like, I'm
just,
not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be straight up. We're not gonna get along.
We are not gonna
and
met-
it's not gonna happen.
Is it? I've done that at work.
It's professional.
Yeah. What a great thing to do to somebody to just be like,
Yeah.
"Look, dude, I tried, but I don't like you." Dude.
Have you done that?
Cody, I got something to tell you.
Another bombshell.
Another bombshell on the podcast.
You're wearing a Hunter x Hunter shirt, even though it's a Chainsaw Man episode.
Well, I'm sorry, there's no Chainsaw Man shirts, dude. Or
No,
else
I
I would,
know, I'm
I would
sorry,
buy
too.
one.
I'm
You know what would
so
be a
sorry.
cool Chainsaw Man shirt? Is if it had like the Chainsaw Man, like if it was one of these long sleeves, and then it had the chains coming down.
That would be
the
cool.
arms.
You know what I would want? I want like a pocket tee, and on the back it'll say Chainsaw Man, and then the pocket you can move, and it'll be Pochita.
That
Ooh.
would
Oh,
be
like
cute.
Pochita, like,
He's
sticking
like
out of the
hidden.
pocket?
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
hidden. You have to show the pocket.
Because he'd be by your heart too.
Yes.
Oh, that's cute.
And there is a thing with Denji where he's like realizing, I don't feel bad about killing the grandfather, which he shouldn't. And he's not really crying over any of the division members. And he's like even thinking about, who would I cry over? Even if Makima died, I think I'd get over it after a while.
Yeah,
And
he's like realizing how much of a devil he is now than
And he's
like
like-
human.
he's like, did making the contract, by giving up my heart, am I becoming more devil than man? There's no time to think about stuff like that. We gotta.
Totally. I'm watching Parasite for the first time.
Yeah.
And it totally reminds me of that. And that is another thing, which is like, we'll talk about it later, but like that shit reminds me of like making, you realize like a human making a contract with like a devil or like a alien, and they take up like, half of their body,
Yeah.
more or less. You're going to become more and more
Right.
devil, or, less empathy. You don't
Yeah.
really care. And it's just like,
And in both of those situations, I'm like, no, I think you just went through a traumatic thing.
yeah.
Both I like in
Yeah.
Parasite 2, I'm like, no, something horrible happened to you, and you're incapable of feeling that right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
that too.
And you didn't know these people who just died, so like,
But he did have that moment with Himeno, right? They did
Yeah,
have that.
yeah.
They did share that moment where she tried to take advantage of him and she was fucked up. But
I mean, I've been to funerals where I'm like, I feel bad that I don't feel bad.
I mean, I guess I have to. I mean, I guess.
I mean, you can't
really-
care for that. There's
I
a
get
limit.
like sad at staring at other people cry.
Yeah, there's empathy, but like,
Yeah.
you're sad that someone is sad, but it's like, yeah, look, this doesn't really. There's a limit. There's a physical limit to how much empathy you can have. For most people, it's
Yeah.
about 150. That's the maximum you can like. Because it's like it's impossible for you to like when you're driving down the freeway. You cannot feel empathy for all of those people driving by.
I do.
You can try.
Yeah, I do too.
I do too. I
There's
think
a
about them all
part
the
of
time.
the brain specifically in charge of like feeling empathy for like people, and depending on how big or small it is, it like
Mine's huge.
Yeah, mine's huge too.
You're fucking damn right it is.
Yeah, it's like
My brain's like that.
my brain's like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Is this around the time too that we start that Makima takes Denji to that movie marathon thing?
Oh yeah, I think that's around the same. It's like related to the same thing.
Well, yeah, because he confides in her, like I'm feeling pretty bad about things.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, what if we went on a date to watch some movies?
Oh god, this bitch.
And even when I watch that, I'm assuming, right, obviously, that she's at first it does seem like she's testing him to see if he does feel anything.
Yeah.
For her reasons.
Because she takes him to like, oh, this is a sad movie. This is a funny movie. This is a action-packed movie. And eventually they do find a movie that they like. It's just two figures and they meet. Like it's just, a man is staring at a cloaked figure and they stare at each other and then they hug. And in my mind that's about a father coming back. I don't know if you guys felt that vibe from that on its own.
Yeah, for sure. But what's also important to note too is that Makima's not reacting to any of these other movies too. The theater's full of people laughing. Denji kind of looks at her and she's stone-faced.
And then
crying.
Yeah. And then when she actually feels something in the last movie they see out of like 14 movies or something, they watched like so many, and that was like the last one, and she's like, yeah, that one really hit me, and she's just like crying.
They were both crying, and she says like, yeah, I just see a bunch of movies and most of them are bad, but every now and then I find a movie that changes my life.
You think
that's not a bad hobby, I guess, if you just trying to find movies that like really hit you.
You think she was faking it though?
Well, she's a woman.
They fake everything.
No,
Wow.
I think that was like a thing of like, yeah, Denji he cried too, so he's like, he found out that like, okay, yeah, like, I'm not emotionless, and then she was also crying, so like, whoever this person is, she also does feel these like emotions too.
It did seem like a test that she was doing to see how he was reacting, but then towards the end, it did feel like it was just a way for her to convince him that he did have feelings. But with Makima, she always has some shit up her sleeve, and we're gonna get more into that obviously as well.
That's after that. This plot has become we have a new Makima's been given control over this new division of like devil hunters, and she's like, oh yeah, thanks.
Thanks for that. I'm gonna have a good time with this.
And Kobeni introduces, Makima introduces Denji and Power to Kishibe, who is like the number one devil hunter.
Awesome guy.
He's so cool, man.
He's so fucking cool. I'm a sucker for an older man in a trench coat that kicks ass. You know what I'm saying?
He does kick ass. He's addicted to alcohol. Me and him have a lot in common.
They're at Himeno's funeral, and it's like this guy mentored her.
Yeah.
And he has the philosophy that only the crazy people can like beat devils.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that Himeno like carried on. That's why she thought Denji had potential, because he is insane when he's fighting devils.
And that's why she wanted Aki to quit.
Yeah,
right?
because Aki wants to be crazy, and he wants to be this cold, detached person, because that's the kind of person it would take to defeat the gun devil. But Himeno's like, that's not who this is just a kid who lost his family.
Yeah.
Aww.
And that's why she's like, I have to get him to, because he's just gonna die doing this, because he's not a crazy motherfucking monster.
Yeah. No, they are. And Maki was like, "Hey, this is you're gonna train them now," and he's like, "Cool."
So cool.
That oh god, those panels are so fucking funny.
It's hilarious. It's like Bisky and Killua and Gon.
Totally. And I love Power and Denji so much. They're like little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
They're so funny.
He asked some questions like, did you feel sad for your squad mates when they died? And they're both like, not really, no. I mean, who do you work for, the humans or the devils? And it's like, whoever's nicest to me. Yeah. He's like, 100 points. I'm going to train you guys.
You guys got potential.
Yeah. And he come in for a hug. And they're like, okay. And then he just like snaps their necks.
Yeah. And they just keep killing it. He keeps killing them. And they just keep, they're like, again, we have to get killed like 7 more times.
He just had his like blood bags under his trench coat that he like drips into their mouths.
So funny.
And then he just kills them again. And they're like the first fight where he's like, okay, try to kill me. Hit me with everything you have. And Power like, she tosses Denji a blood hammer, and they're like, all right, let's do this. Let's kill this old man.
Yeah.
And then he just like, he like immediately kills Denji in a second, and then just slashes his power star, and he's like, that wasn't enough.
It was
Yes,
so
tomorrow.
it was so funny too watching him and Denji and Power trying to be smart. I'm like, that's fucking cute, dude. They got their glasses
They
on.
activate super IQ mode. And
Yeah, they have the little mustaches. They're like, yes, we're gonna beat him today. And he comes up the stairs, and they're
Yeah.
at the apartment. And they're like, no, and then they just fuck up.
To be fair though, they did use their abilities
Power
in very
used
cool ways.
Yeah, she like sets up. She just like gets some of her blood in like a bunch of bottles and like activates it for a trap. And
Yeah.
Denji like goes in for an ambush instead of activating his chainsaw power. But and
He
it's
said
like,
even like he's like, that was pretty good. That was
Yeah.
almost there, but not quite.
and he's like, that's, you know what though, you guys are learning. That's good. We're gonna stop doing this. We're just gonna go to normal training now.
Yeah.
Take the day off. And they're like, oh thank God.
Can I say though that I don't think that I saw them use their powers in as creative of ways after that. Like, to me, it just kind of seemed from that point on they were just back to kind of like brawling instead
Yeah.
of using their powers in smart
I
ways.
will mostly agree with that. Denji didn't really learn a technique. He just learned the idea of like how to fight different, like just the idea of fight differently.
Right.
And then Power learned a technique. And then I mentioned before that zombie fight that Power like has, which was great, where she's like, I'm strong and beautiful and I'm not running. Denji, watch me in all my glory. And then he's like, all right, we're leaving. That's the last time you see her fight.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. And I think that's why too. I mean, he was training them obviously, but he was just like, use your fucking heads. Like, you guys have this power, use your brains. I know you guys aren't that smart, but you can at least try.
Yeah.
And he was trying to like push them out of the comfort zones of becoming better.
Yeah, and I think this is around the time after their training is complete, because it's never really complete, right?
No.
It gets interrupted.
No, he's just like, all right, cool. Now we're gonna work together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it gets to the point where this is where they start getting, basically, from what I understand, Cody, and correct me if I'm skipping around. Don't burst a blood vessel. But this is where they start finding out that other hybrids and other devil man or men and women from around the world are going to start coming because of...
Yeah, that's much later.
That's much later?
Yeah.
What am I forgetting?
The
Oh,
The someone in a telephone booth.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you're
God.
right.
And then Aki's power up because he lost Cone because Cone doesn't like being used on strong enemies. So
Right.
so it was like, oh, you made me eat this devil. It tastes disgusting. The contract was broken immediately, and he's like,
Yeah.
Damn.
so we got to get you a new devil, and he gets paired up with the future devil, who
Oh
Yeah.
my
is
God,
amazing.
hilarious.
Who's super
Future's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love a future. Future is life.
The future is best.
Future,
the future is best.
Yeah, yeah.
It
And
was
he's just
pretty-
flexing.
yeah.
It was pretty badass too that all he wanted was to crawl into Aki's eye, because he says I have to see your future before I make the contract. You have to look into my stomach, right?
Yeah, and he's like, ooh.
Yeah. And then he's like, your death is going to be so terrible. I want to see it with my own eyes.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, they're so evil.
I know.
They're
It's so
so
cool
evil.
though.
And 'cause the other contracts are like,
When Megan says it with blood all over her
They're
face.
so evil.
because they say, oh, he made a contract with someone in exchange for half of their lifespan, and they made another person in exchange for their ability to see and taste things or something
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Aki's just, let me live in your eye.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it for myself.
Yeah.
And Aki's like, okay.
Okay.
And
As
that's
long as I get to kill the gun devil.
yeah, and that's back to Aki just not giving a fuck and rushing things and just jumping the shark,
know.
jumping the beam, if you will.
Jumping the beam, if you will.
Jumping the beam, if
and
you
if you
will.
won't,
Fuck you. dog.
Yeah,
If
fuck
you
you.
won't, fuck you.
fuck you. Yeah.
And Kishibe like asks Makima like, are you even working on the side of humanity?
Yeah, and she goes, yes, I want to protect as many human lives as possible. And he goes, liar.
Yeah.
And then she goes,
She just smiles
Yeah.
and it's like, see, no.
she's so evil.
And that does come back a little bit later.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now we're getting into Reese, right? Is that how you say her name?
I think it's Rize.
Rize, probably. is how
Probably
you say
Rize.
it.
And I was so happy for Denji. I was so happy for him that it was a girl closer in age to him, that actually cares for likes him as a normal person.
Go ahead, Cody.
There's the part where they fight the sword devil and the snake woman again.
When do they do that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because they train, they get their power ups, and then it's like, all right, round 2, we're going again. But now it's like with this new division and new team, and everyone's stronger.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that was kind of the completion of their training, actually, because he says, if you succeed, then we'll work together, and if not, then there will be no more Division 4, and this will all be, this will all be for nothing. This will all be over, kind of thing.
And Makima, that's when she interrogates the some Yakuza members, and she gives a thing like, they're like, oh look, if it's not us, someone's gonna do it, and we're a necessary evil, and she's like, people who say that are just trash, justifying their own existence.
Okay, Makima.
There's no such thing as a necessary evil. And so it's like, but the thing is,
I don't know.
What's interesting, because that wasn't done in front of anyone else. She did that solo, which means that wasn't like a front she was putting up.
Yeah,
that is a viewpoint she has.
It's like hard to read her because she's like very towards her own ways, and she's doing her own thing, but also she'll just say shit like that, and you're like, what do you believe? What is up with you? I can't read you.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I still think she says bullshit like that because maybe she does believe it, but also you're a hypocrite.
I think she's the kind of villain or villainous person who believes what they're doing is for the best.
Thanos.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, well, we are massively overpopulated in that situation.
Yeah, no, Thanos.
Okay, Cody is Thanos.
Yeah.
What's fun, I like how everyone was agreeing that, the planet's over. People were making overpopulation jokes all the time, and then something actually happened, and they're like, well, let's not
get too crazy.
Yeah, the thing we all said needed to happen.
I mean, it happens every couple hundred years.
Exactly.
Somebody
dude.
tries to wipe us out.
Thanos tries to. Yeah.
Thanos just sped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Speed it up.
You get one line where Kevin was like, "Yeah, the environment is healing and the Earth is getting better."
But
and they're like, "Shut up."
Shut up, you purple bastard.
Shut up, you purple raisin ass.
We can't
bitch.
we can't necessarily dispute anything you're saying.
Yeah.
But we're gonna punch you.
And we can attack you based on how you look.
I want to feel as good as Thanos did at the end of that movie, though, when he's looking off in the sunset. He has his own little shack now. He's just like, everything is complete.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I want a pill that makes me feel like that,
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be
ecstasy.
Me.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I thought that was gonna be me after coronavirus, I'm just sitting down and I'm just like,
Wow, that was dark. That got dark quick. I was joking about a drug, and you took it to reality and death.
But that's not what happened. So is it dark?
It might.
Yeah. And we gotta see Aki, even with his power up, it's immediately established there's limits to it.
Yeah.
When he fights the snake lady again, and it turns out her snake, if it consumes another devil, it can it can use it now.
And that's where we get that touching moment, dude.
Yeah, because at first,
moment.
It's like, okay, Aki can see attacks coming now, but if it's a bunch of attacks, at a certain point, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah,
and then it's beating him up, and then it hands him a cigarette that says "Easy Revenge."
And I gotta say, that hit me. That hit me more than her dying. That hit me more than her dying for some reason. Because my question, I guess, for you, I don't know how you interpret it, but does the devil still have some sort of loyalty to her?
That's what I assumed. Her will was still in that devil, because once it hands him the cigarette. It didn't drop it. It hands it to him.
Yeah. And why would the devil? The devil is literally doing Himeno's bidding after Himeno is dead.
That was the contract. Was make sure Aki lives.
But the contract, I guess, is paid, right? She's paid her debt.
She gave her everything.
Yeah.
And that other moment too with Denji and Aki.
Which one?
With I don't know his name.
Oh, so after they in that beautiful scene where Aki walks among a field of flowers and just executes the ghost devil.
Yeah.
And then he's and then another great moment where he's like, "Don't kill her, Kobeni." And the snake goes, "What are you talking about?" And then Kobeni's just holding her at a knife point.
Yeah.
Kobeni's awesome. She comes in just random.
Kobeni is awesome, but yeah, she
What?
comes in. No, she is awesome, but she comes in at the weirdest parts of the
Because
story.
she's so weird. She's
Yeah.
like one of the weirdest characters because she's so scared, but yet she's like able to do these things that everyone else is doing. She's just so scared of dying. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. She is great, and she is someone who comes back again in a very, very weird way. You guys touched on it in the first part,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but the way she comes back is hilarious.
Did not
but
see it
also-
coming. Yeah,
did
and I
not
was
see
so
it.
happy because like
Okay.
where that story was, I was like, God damn.
Yeah, I need something to lift me
give
up.
me an issue where something good
Lift
happens.
me up.
Well, yeah,
it sounds like you were gonna sing the "Lift Me Up," like what's that? Is the Evanescence song?
Wake me up inside.
Yeah, "Wake Me Up." But I thought you were saying "Lift Me Up." I thought you were saying
Lift me up.
"Lift Me Up
inside."
inside."
Can't wait. Lift. I can't
Can't
get
lift
lift up. Lift me.
Anyway, is this where we get to Rize now, or Rize? Is that where we get?
No,
there?
this is where Denji fights the Sword Devil after
Oh, yeah,
being
yeah, yeah,
trained. And then
Who is that? The Sword Devil? I can't remember.
he
Yeah,
fights
yeah.
the Sword Devil, and he does. They like they have a moment where Denji's like, all right, let's do it. Round 2. He pulls his ripcord. He pulls his fucking hand off.
His stupid hand.
A dumb fucking fight, and then we get a well executed version of the Samurai 8 scene.
What Samurai 8 scene?
In the beginning of Samurai 8, where he like in issue 1, right, or where he like he gets his power, and then they have a thing, and then they both go for like a fight, and then like one person wins, and it's like and then they like say a line, and then in this it's like, oh, he just got trained and he pulled a trick on the Sword Devil to like win
Yeah.
by calling back to Kishibe tells Denji never trust what a hunter has to say.
Yes.
Because they're fighting, the Sword Devil just keeps nothing personaling him, cuts his arm off, cuts the other arm off. He's like, I still got my head though, and they go for a charge, and then it's revealed that Denji like made a chainsaw come out of his foot.
Yeah. Well, to be fair too, though, it's not easy to outdo Samurai 8. Okay. I mean, Samurai 8, you could have literally done anything better than they did it.
Yeah.
You know? It's not that hard.
Well, I'm talking about the revenge part. Who is that? Who do they have on their knees?
That's the Sword Devil. After
Yes.
Denji beats him, he has him tied up, and Aki's like, "Oh, you got the guy."
You got the guy that killed
And then
Himeno.
yeah,
and he's
and
like, oh yeah, let's fucking just beat his
And then
ass
they
until
kick
they
him in the
show up.
balls a
And
bunch
they
of
just
times.
you
yeah,
want to
they-
have at first Aki's like, we're supposed to be law enforcement. You want to kick this guy in the balls? He's like, all right, what do I get if I win? They're gonna have a ball tournament. And it's
Yeah.
like whoever gets him to scream the loudest gets to keep what's left of his balls.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh no. And then they have like Aki's like, this is for you, Himeno. And it's just like, you can see that in an anime where it's like in slow motion with them cheering and like happy music playing as they're
Yeah.
just kicking the guy in the balls as hard
that
as
was
they can.
great.
It was great. It was a great moment. It brought it all back from when they met the first time or when they went out the first time. Yeah, it was a touching but also hilarious scene. I love that part so much.
That's that's one of the core scenes of Chainsaw Man is when they kick a guy in the balls
Perfect.
Perfect.
as a
sense.
team.
As a team, and that's why I love Chainsaw Man, okay? Because they're not afraid to go there. They're not afraid to kick you in the balls.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
Speaking of balls, Rize.
Yes, I've been wanting to talk about Rize, dude.
God.
Okay, let me just say this real quick. I don't know if I was happy for Denji when he meets Rize. I don't know
Why?
because like, bro, I'm already like Makima's fucking you up. She's fucking your life up. Like, first of all, I'm thinking nothing's gonna go good for you, Denji. I don't know why you think anything good is gonna happen to you. You already have one woman controlling you. God forbid you have two now. You know.
But at first you didn't even. She's just a random girl that he meets, and you're like,
Denji-
okay.
Accidentally does like a very smooth thing. He does what is interpreted as a magic trick after he's like he's like, yeah, I do have a heart, and he like he's just like, well, excuse me, would you like a flower? He's like, yes, I would, thank you, because I have a heart, and then he eats it. He's like, thank you for that flower, and the lady's like, you're not supposed to eat those, and then it starts raining. He's in a phone booth. This girl like runs in with him like, oh, sorry, and he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
He's like, I love magic.
She's like, wow. It's not like I was following you the whole time.
I had a feeling right away though. Right away, I was like, something's off about this bitch. This bitch smells a little.
She's wearing a choker. Oh, that's a telltale
You know what they
sign.
say about girls who wear
Oh,
chokers.
yeah.
You know what they
Oh,
say.
yeah.
And I'm sensing right away too that this girl, something's awry, something's amiss with her. I don't like the
I
way.
didn't know at first. I really didn't. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what this is gonna lead to, and then yeah.
It was too perfect. That's why.
You think so?
It was too perfect. It was too happy. She was into him way too quick. She was inviting him back to her cafe. It was all happening so fast, and she didn't seem to care that he was a devil hunter who was 16 years old.
She did. She was like freaked out by it, and she said like she was like, shouldn't you know that's like not okay, right? And he's like, well, yeah, but I get like food and a bed to sleep in. And she's like, you understand that's basic things. That's not.
She's like, you have to go to school.
Yeah.
He's like, you never went to school. He's like, no,
I guess I mean she wasn't like afraid or like she wasn't like turned off by it. She was like down.
She was more sad for him not like living a life of a 16-year-old because he had like a full-time job of where his life is on the line constantly. But it wasn't like, yeah, exactly. She wasn't like, oh, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And
for obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons.
It starts off seeming like I guess she's the manic pixie dream girl that he's just gonna run into, and then she's gonna represent the idea of a normal life versus devil hunting.
That's what I thought they were gonna do.
I could see that.
I totally thought that was gonna be the classic anime trope where they're gonna have a romantic interest finally because he doesn't really have one. It's kind of one-sided with Makima. It's like more of like a tease type of relationship. So I was like, okay, he's got the sister type power. He's got the one-sided relationship Makima. This is probably gonna be the one that is dual, or if not, she likes him more than he does like her because of he likes Makima more. So that's what I thought.
I could see that. I guess I didn't see it that way, but now that you explain it, I could see that possibly happening. What I thought was going to happen as like an anime trope was when she invited him to go to school with her. I thought, oh, this is going to be Denji goes to school, and they were going to do that thing where like a character who has a crazy life, they have that like episode, like a beach episode kind of, but like where he's at school trying to be a normal 16-year-old, you know. I kind of thought they were going to do that. My question to Cody though is, was this a part of the story that you thought you might be out on?
I was for. I mean, I'm rooting for Denji to be happy. I thought like, oh, like he's just like he's like confused by this girl like having genuine like interest in him and like wanting to do stuff for him because his life has just been people like demanding he does stuff for them.
Yeah.
So he's also just thrown off by the idea of someone being like, oh, I can help you, and he has not been offered that in his life.
Yeah,
just someone being like, I'll teach you this, and she's like getting close to him, and he's like, but I haven't done anything. Like, you know, you're seeing a used kid who's not used to genuine affection.
Aww.
Sad.
And then the school, and they're walking around. How cute.
They sneak into an old school, and she's trying to teach him how to
cute.
read, and she's like, oh, let's go swimming.
Yeah.
And then like.
And she's like, I'll teach you everything.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, it's really looking up for him. And then she
She's
gets
like, I
followed
gotta-
by a devil or
She gets followed by a serial killer, and
serial. Is it a serial killer?
yeah, that guy's
he's-
just a serial killer.
No, he was a demon hunter. He was a private demon hunter or devil hunter. He was a private devil hunter that was after Denji, and he was going to use her to get to Denji because
Oh yeah.
It was a guy who had a contract with the Typhoon Devil.
Yeah.
And his contract with them was, if you give me Denji's heart, then you'll get my power.
Yeah.
That-
Right, but I
was
think
the-
before he made the contract, he was just a serial killer, though.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he
And
talked
he-
about skinning people and
And
showing
his go-to move of defeating like powerful threats is he goes after their loved ones.
Exactly.
And he'll torture them and like rip out their body parts and show them to this target. That way they'll become emotionally unstable.
Yeah.
And
solid move.
Solid.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's kind of the goat.
He's the goat.
if you want trauma, that's
Yeah.
exactly how you do it. I
Yeah.
think.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
then
bounce back from
he
that shit.
chases Reese up to the rooftop and is like, I don't know how many times I've seen a plot end with someone being chased by a serial killer. Going back to Parasite of
Oh God.
and like how many times an anime plot line ends with like
The rooftop.
the serial killer chases
The
someone to
rooftop.
a rooftop and I was like, ah, damn it, this is gonna be his Gwen Stacy.
I know. I
This
was
is
like
gonna
so
be-
scared. I was like, no. Oh my God, no. Denji's gonna be so sad. And she was like,
Yeah, she,
Yeah, dude. And then she starts speaking Russian.
Oh, yeah.
She starts singing a Russian lullaby.
Little Black
As she's,
Widow
like,
action.
as she's
Yeah.
choking him out.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I didn't predict any of this. This whole
No.
time I'm like, oh, wow, I guess she just...
Yes. No, yes.
Okay,
it's
she-
like,
You didn't see any of this coming.
no.
I was just like, oh, she just knew self-defense. Okay.
No.
And then
yeah.
she's singing a lullaby because she's like, that's like a way, that was like a technique she has to calm down. I didn't catch on to anything going on.
Yeah, and I didn't know that she was, made a contract. I had no idea about any of this at all. So I was like, oh, yeah, exactly. She does self-defense. Okay, something's weird about her. Maybe she's not what she seems a little bit, but she might be able to have a good life with Denji.
I thought when I saw that she was like a sleeper agent. That's what I thought. I thought that this was like she was, in her mind, she was a normal normal girl who worked at a cafe, and then when something violent happens to her, this trigger kind of gets flipped, and she becomes this like this Russian spy or something like. You know how they have those like
Manchurian
trigger words?
agent.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a feeling that something was up, but what I didn't see was that who she actually was. I did not see that coming.
She doesn't tell Denji what happened, and she's just like, all right, I'm back from the bathroom, and then there's fireworks going off, and she's like, will you just run away with me?
Run away with me.
And Denji's got this moment of like, okay, life with a normal girl, but I'm being like, will be pursued by these devil hunting agencies for the rest of my life. And she's like, and I'll protect you, and we'll just live together happily. And he's like, but I don't know if I want to leave this life. I just started. And then they kiss as the fireworks go off, and then he like falls down. I'm like, oh wow, the kiss was so powerful, it stunned him. And he's missing half his tongue.
Yeah. And she was very happy about that.
And that's where we start to find out who this bitch really
that's
is.
where
The
shit
shark-
hits the fan.
The shark devil comes charging in. He's like, oh my god, I didn't realize. How did I tell?
Yeah.
I didn't know. What's happened? And then it's just Ree standing on it, and she pulls on her choker and goes, boom.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude. And she's literally the gun devil's like one of his right hand.
It said she's a partner of the gun devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made her seem to me like she was a bigger deal though. Like she could have been like part of his like elite group.
I mean, she was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Like her power is really awesome.
And she looks like the xenomorphs.
Totally.
She totally does look like a xenomorph.
Yeah,
dude.
it was awesome. I liked that reveal. It was dope. I was like, I did not expect that at all.
And thank God for dumbass, stupid ass fucking Beam, dude.
Beam is the best. Beam's awesome. Beam's hilarious. Master Denji.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes that I was like, I fucking don't like this guy. From a character design standpoint, I'm like, he's badass. But the character, he's just a bumbling idiot, dude.
He's a
I'm
shark.
like, fuck Beam, and then he comes and pulls some dope shit like that.
And it was the fights that happen against the bomb devil, where it's like where everyone takes turns at trying to fight her, and seeing like how creative she is with her powers and how powerful it is on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite fights.
Where
just
she-
because all of the emotions on the line, and then
Yeah.
eventually when the fight ends with her and Denji, and he still tries to save her.
Oh,
just
I
like-
mean,
And she's
was-
like, you still think I liked you? I was lying. And he goes, well, if you were lying, you wouldn't have taught me how to swim. You could have just killed me when you had me on your own. And she goes, I have to go.
Aw, and he's just like, run. I
He's
won't
like-
tell them that you're here. Just go.
I'll meet you. I'm going to be waiting for you at that cafe. We'll run away together. And she snaps his neck and she's like, Beam, can you pull my cord so I can regenerate?
Yeah, and then as
So
she's
sad.
walking away, he's like, "Hey, Rize," and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "You the bomb."
I damn it. I was gonna say that. You
Yeah.
bomb.
You bomb, girl, you bomb. And that is where we also see, someone else come back,
Makima.
Makima.
Dude, that scene was so fucking awesome. She's just so badass. She's like, I love the farm mouse.
Because there's that
And they just
Aesop's
fuck-
fable.
They
There's
all
a-
just come in.
There's the debate Reese has with Denji of which would you rather be, the country mouse
Yeah.
or the city mouse. Denji
Country
would
mouse.
want to be the city mouse because even though it's more dangerous, there's more stuff to enjoy. Reese would prefer to be the country mouse because it's safer, and that's what she wants more in life. And you see Aki and Angel also having that debate.
Yeah.
And then she's like, Reese is going to, Denji like packs up all this stuff. He quietly leaves Aki's apartment. He's like waiting. He like goes to that cafe to meet her. Reese is like going to go leave back to Russia or wherever.
Yeah.
And then she like stops and
Yeah.
just starts walking back to the cafe, and it's like, is she gonna go try to finish him off, or is she gonna get back together with him?
She was going
And
to the cafe to get with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably
yeah.
was. And then Maki
Yeah.
was like,
And
can't
just-
have that happen.
Yeah, a
and
rat, a swarm of rats form, and like from that swarm, you just hear, "I too like the country mouse,"
Yeah.
and it's just Makima.
Oh my god. And then I wrote it down. She's just like, you know what, Denji, I've never been to school either. And I was like,
That
fuck,
was-
these guys have such hard lives.
That was fucking sad.
I know, and she's just in blood, and
Yeah,
then
she was a child soldier.
yeah, and then Angel Devil's like, yeah, I didn't ask Aki to come because he probably wouldn't have wanted to do this.
Yeah, well,
Because Aki has a moment where he bonds with Angel.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Angel's the whole time being like, I don't care about people suffering or not. And during a big fight with a Typhoon Devil, in which Sharknado reference had to,
Oh yeah, that shit was awesome.
where they're like, "What? We're fighting two devils. You know, they're both insanely powerful. And Denji, you need a way to get up to the Typhoon Devil to fight him." And it's like, the Shark Fiend's like, "I knew Master Chainsaw, and what he did was he used the chains to travel around buildings." And then Denji's like, "I got it. I got what you're saying."
Yeah.
And he like transformed into a full shark, and I'll ride you like a horse. And was like, "That's not what he meant."
Yeah, no, Angel was like, he's like, you could use it something like an extended chain from your arm and hook it to the building. You could do something like that. And they're like, nah, he's gonna be a horse now.
Denji's like, "Oh, I loved it." Then he's like, "No, this is what he meant, right?" And then the shark guy's like,
idiots.
"No, yeah, okay."
These guys are idiots.
A couple things. Another reason why that was so touching too is because at the beginning of that chapter, the guy who is training them, who would train Power and Denji, is telling someone. I don't know if he's telling Himeno like in a flashback or if he's telling Aki, but he's talking about this rumor. He's like, yeah, I heard this rumor that there are these like children that they keep in cages and blah 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 blah, and he's telling this like story of these like basically children who are kidnapped and forced to become these like
Yeah.
soldiers and make contracts and all this stuff. And then at the end of the chapter, we find out she was one of the. He's like, I don't know if that's real or not. I don't know if that's a rumor or not. We find out that she was one of those, and then we also find out that she never got to go to school.
And
that was that line.
he reveals that there's what happens if a devil dies on Earth, it goes to hell, and if a devil dies in hell, it goes to Earth, and no devil remembers like their life on the other side,
right?
but they all remember a noise. And he's like, and I heard that noise today. It's the noise of Denji's chainsaw.
Yeah. Which is the implications. I mean, come on, dude. I believe, by the way, I do want to say before we move forward, I believe, Megan, you would be a city mouse, maybe? Would you consider yourself, or would you consider yourself a country mouse?
I don't know. Both are kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks being a mouse.
Well, if I was a city mouse, then I could live in France and I could be like,
Ratatouille.
I'm Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I consider myself maybe more of a city mouse, and Cody, you're a junkyard mouse.
I would rather be a country mouse, yeah.
Yeah.
He said junkyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The country.
Just wanted to clear that up. See what kind of mice I was dealing with.
And you
over
get to
here.
hear Makima's speech on why she likes the country mouse. Because in her free time, when she goes to visit her friends in the country and kills them by the dozens.
Yeah, she goes, that's why I like them, so I can fucking kill them.
Yeah.
She is such a menace.
And like, because Aki and Angel, they're like getting swept up by a typhoon devil happening. And Aki like still grabs, the angel devil like absorbs the life force of anyone he touches, and he can use that like time to build weapons from his halo. That's why if he absorbs like 10 years, he can make a weapon that has 10 years strength. They don't go into how specifically it works, but you get it. Like 10 years is more powerful than 1 year.
Yeah.
And Aki like grabs Angel, even though he's like, they don't even like each other. And Angel's like, I want to die. Like, I don't like this existence. I want to, it's when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. It's fine. And then Angel still like grabs him and makes contact. And he's like, why are you doing this? I'm tired of watching people die.
Yeah.
And he saves him, and Angel's like, has like a flashback where he's like, remembers this face of a girl.
Yeah.
As he's like dying, you're like, what's going on with Angel?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, that's when Angel throws a spear at Reese. He's like, I don't think Aki would have wanted to be here for an execution.
Yeah, straight up. Just like, we're killing her. Because, I mean, she is pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Actually, and she did
She
go
killed
after Denji.
so many people.
Yeah. What the fuck is that, Cody? Are you trying to leave?
This is some fucking AI function that I can't turn off on my phone. And like, okay, time to set up Bixby. I'm not setting it up. It's never gonna happen.
You sure you don't just talk to it sometimes?
Are we on Santa Claus now?
So the end result.
I just want to talk about Santa Claus.
I know. I want to get there too.
We're right about there because we have a beautiful fight with Denji riding a shark devil through a tornado, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, if I just like stick my chainsaw, the tornado devil is just gonna rip itself apart." And then they fight. Denji beats the thing, and it's like this huge spectacle. And it turns out that got captured on film, and the news people are like, "Chainsaw Devil fights other devils." I think we got a devil on our side, people.
Which I already started to feel at that moment, and I'm not just saying this. I already started to feel like that was going to come into play later. I already had a feeling that why this was happening.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I thought so far I guess it's a pretty straightforward shonen type story so far, except they kind of I just saw that whole thing about fighting devils that have like parts of the gun devil. I saw that like lasting a lot longer than it did.
Yeah, me too.
And I feel like if it was a more traditional shonen, that's how he would have. Okay, we fought a fish devil, and now we're gonna fight this devil. But they're like, okay, well, you get the idea. Now we're moving on.
Yeah.
And the cap off to that whole arc is when it like Reese is just staring at that. She was almost there. She was in the alley right before the cafe when she's like, the truth is I never got to go to school either. She's like, she can see the back of Denji's head waiting for her. And it cuts to him holding a huge bouquet of flowers like waiting for her. And the boss is like, hey, look, man, the right woman's going to come along someday. You'll see. And then Power like opens his like, Power!
Yeah.
It's like,
I do want to say that I didn't see, like, I don't want people to watch and go like, oh, Josh saw everything coming. I didn't know who the bomb girl was. I didn't know Rize was going to be who she was. I didn't see a lot of things coming. I was very suspicious of her, and that's all I had a gut feeling about. But I really also did have a gut feeling because I feel like I've seen it happen before, and just the way the story was going and their emphasis on, how devils get their power and putting so much emphasis on the gun devil and this and that. And after like the reveal of who Makima was and her always having this ace up her sleeve, I didn't necessarily know why she was doing what she was doing necessarily, but I did know that this was probably all a part of her plan to like make people start to notice Denji and feel like he was a good guy, because it kind of did remind me a little bit of the Devilman Cry series, the new one, where there was a similar scene where the Devilman is trying to convince people like we're good, and this is getting a little ahead of ourselves, but what they did in the Devilman Crybaby anime was the opposite of what Makima's doing. So the villain in the Devilman Crybaby series was trying to televise Devilmen and make them look really bad so people would fear them. And so I saw this as like Makima doing the opposite kind of thing, if that makes sense.
did you know that in the moment, or is that just like something you're thinking about in hindsight?
No, in the moment, I was like, this is probably what's going to happen. Probably.
Really?
I swear, and only because I watched Devilman Crybaby. And the way it happened in Devilman Crybaby was super similar.
That should have been safe for a spoiler.
I mean, we're talking about everything anyway.
Yeah. Up until this moment.
Yeah.
Up until the 90th chapter.
Yeah. Now, I mean, we are at about an hour and a half now, so it's up to you guys how you want to do it. But we still got a lot to talk about.
I know. Santa Claus is fucking awesome. That's all I want to say.
Probably my favorite arc for like action. I think the Reese arc was really good for all the emotional stuff happening.
Yes.
And then this one is like the fight scenes that are happening are insane.
Yeah, and we get Quonksy.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is that shit? What the fuck is that shit?
She's so cool.
What? She has zombie sex slaves.
Oh, she's got a bunch of sex slaves.
Why does she have? What?
She has
her posse.
She has a team she has a harem
Posse of
fiends
pussy.
She has a pussy posse.
Pussy
A
posse.
that like just one of the issues just starts with a cold open of her just mid orgy with them.
Yeah, and then she's just like, "You have a job. You have a job. You gotta go. You're in China. You gotta go." And she's like, "Okay, what do I get?" And he's like, "You can get whatever." And she's like, "Can I get basic education for
and
my
rights for my
sex
fiends?
slaves?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And she was like, "Cool."
Did
And I
you
was
get
like, "What?"
sex slave vibes from that?
Yes, because like they were just fangirls.
They were people who just wanted to fuck her. I feel
Yeah.
like they were just down, dude.
But they
were gonna-
look all fucked up.
They're fiends. They're not zombies.
Fiends.
Yeah, they're all fiends. She wants basic rights for her fiends. Power is a fiend.
Power's a fiend.
A fiend is a devil that took
devil?
over a corpse. And that's what those are. Those are like
But also with the zombie one, I was like, I don't know if you can be fucking
Halloween.
that thing because
Halloween.
Yeah, and then it turns out that one is, a lot smarter than you think. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if you can be fucking that one because that one doesn't look like it can give you verbal consent. Okay?
Yeah, no, that
look
one
like-
has a sewed up mouth. One has a sewed up mouth. Yeah,
And I
that's
think
pretty graphic stuff.
one of them is another blood fiend.
Oh.
Oh, one of them does look like Power a little
And
bit.
she's got the horns.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. There could just be multiples.
Yeah, they were crazy.
Because like now
They were
that
sexy.
now that Denji's like everyone knows about him now, like Malcolm is like, okay, well, I was gonna try to like have you like escape, but now you're gonna have a bunch of assassins coming after you now, and you get like Quancy being like, okay, yeah, basic human rights for this, and then how many assassins are sent after him?
They have them. You have Santa Claus sent after, or well,
There's
technically
Quancy.
not.
yeah.
There's the German Santa Claus.
Yeah, Santa Claus.
And he
that was
in
Russian.
exchange he wants 4 children.
Yeah.
Was it like 3 for sacrifices and 1 for pleasure?
Yeah.
And then it's like,
that sounded like the TikTok.
it's 2 like devil hunters just in the middle of the woods that are like, they like hunt a fox.
yeah,
They hunt a fox, and like there's like a mentor and then her like student, and she's like, what we did to this fox, we're about to do to a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah. And then they meet up, and then Santa Claus has puppets, and fighting ensues, and then yeah, there's so much
There's
in that arc.
The Immortal Brothers, the 3 brothers that survived a gun devil attack, they made a contract with a skin devil to where they can shapeshift into people.
They
kill.
kill those motherfuckers.
They ambush like a squad of devil hunters.
Yeah, the one she has a scar right here, and then he like goes to his friend's house and spends the night, and he's like, "I'm so glad you're here, buddy. You're awesome. Your wife is. How's your wife?" And he's like, "I'm just wearing the skin suit. I have no
but
idea what
also
the
he
fuck."
He has
is
a
going
mental
on."
breakdown over the
He
Yeah.
does seem like he gets super emotional.
Oh, yeah, it's
and he
horrible.
starts crying, and I'm thinking like, why is he not just murdering this guy?
Yeah.
And why is he crying like
Well,
that?
because he didn't go there to murder him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know,
But it's sad. He's just thinking about like, I just
Because
fucked
he's-
over this guy's life.
He's like living the life of the guy who he just killed for like the sake of a plan that did nothing.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It didn't work at all because of one of the best scenes in all of manga, in which they're gathering as a group, and like one of those devil hunters goes like, "Oh, I'm with your squad too. It's me." And then like,
oh yeah,
Kobeni's like, "This is my car," and Power's like, "This is my car. I like this car. This
She's
is my
such
car.
a
You trying to steal it from me?"
brat.
I love her.
She's such a brat.
And then they're talking like, okay, here's what we gotta do. We gotta go into, and then the Kobeni's car just runs over Denji and the new squad member, and there's a whole crowd just looking in terror. And then Power's just shocked, and Kobeni's crying.
Yeah,
And then it shape shifts back into like one of the brothers, and Power's
They're
like,
like, cool.
I knew it. Only I, with my master IQ, could have seen.
that was hilarious, dude. And I'm so glad they didn't dwell on that for longer. I'm so glad that wasn't a huge arc too. Where now we got to find out who the
Yeah,
fucking
no, they don't
shapeshifters
care.
are.
They're not. They're not about. They're not.
No.
They're,
That
not
gets
they're not a part of it at all.
Those guys get killed.
So quick.
Their entire
So
plan
quick.
gets immediately because they're like, okay, there's shapeshifters about. Keep an eye out. And so the 2 brothers like go into an alleyway, and like one's like puking, and like because he just saw one of his brothers get. Everyone's puking, and like everyone like, they just saw someone get run over. Everyone's freaked out, and the other brother's like, yeah, you don't have what it takes. And then one of the devil hunters go, like he's like, someone's coming, and you just see like blood just get thrown out, and then one of the devil hunters is like, no, professional wouldn't be vomiting in the middle of an alleyway. You're good. And then it's just like that guy two brothers just immediately killed.
Yeah.
Without doing anything.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like the Three Stooges of this whole
Yeah.
fucking
Straight up.
series.
They didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
And then it gets crazy and
Well, then we get into the Santa Claus kind of arc, right? And that is what I think leads us into the kind
where
of
we are now.
Where we are now,
Yeah.
right? It's a lot of those events that lead us into where we're at now.
And the way that Santa Claus fight is finished is glorious. As far as like this, Denji is like a freaking animal.
yeah, he's the man.
Well, yeah, I mean, it happens in such a crazy way too, and I think these are where like maybe some of my questions start coming in, because this is like where I start to get a little like unsure about exactly what was happening.
That's exactly what we were saying. We're like, we don't know what the fuck is going. We don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's happening. It's all just like matter of fact. Like this is it. Like this is it, and you get explained, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because Santa Claus has the ability to touch people, and as soon as he touches them, they become dolls, right?
And if a doll touches someone, they become a doll.
Yes.
And within like a very short time, he has like an entire city just dolled.
Yes. And then I think what happens is we find out that Santa Claus is a doll,
Yeah.
right?
He's a perfect doll, and those are like dolls that the doll master like restores humanity to, and now that they're like human again, they can make contracts with devils, because a fiend being a devil can't make contracts with other devils, but now a perfect doll can. So they have their Santa Claus make the contract, so they don't even have to deal with any of the repercussions.
And then the partner, fucking Darkness Devil. Holy shit.
They get sent
Yes.
to the contract is send everyone in this building to hell.
And they go to hell, and they're like, whoa. And Angel was like, yeah, we're in hell right now. And they're like, wait, why do I
What?
feel really bad right now? And Power's like even scared. And then Darkness Devil just fucking comes up and just starts fucking murdering bitches left and right. And then one of them's like, I just want the chance. I just need the power to kill Makima. And that's when I knew what the fuck is up with Makima.
Well, that's because that's when around the time that we're having that discussion where who's the orgy fucking horny lady?
Quanxi and Kishibe meet, and then they're like, quiet, Makima might be listening. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Help me kill Makima.
Dude, crazy.
Yeah. And then she does end up making a kind of pact with Denji. She's like, okay, well, you know, we're still after each other, but we got to take care of this shit first.
Because the doll woman has she gets a piece of the
Darkness Devil.
the Darkness Devil.
Yeah. She's like,
And-
yummy.
And the
Now
form
she's-
she gets is like interesting,
Yeah.
but like I don't know why that was the
Now,
design that went with
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was she the main doll?
She was Santa Claus.
She was Santa Claus, the
She
main
was
Santa
Santa
Claus.
She
the
was
whole
Santa
time.
Claus, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
like she gets her new perfect. She gets the old Santa Claus to like kill me and like I offer you my everything, send everyone to hell. Makima gets summoned, and she's able to like to the new doll is like she has him say offer you my everything, send everyone back. Like kind of just undoes that whole thing. But now she still has she's got to eat a piece of the Darkness Devil.
Yeah, and then they just fight and shit, and then
Yeah.
yeah, that's when I kind of knew. I was like, what is up with Makima? Like, why are they talking about why would she be listening? Like I thought they were on the same team, and then it's like, no.
Yeah, well, I just didn't think he was gonna make that move. I just didn't see him as a guy. I thought he was. I mean, he made it very clear that he's loyal to humanity, and anybody who's gonna fuck with humanity is on his shit list. But I didn't think he was gonna try to pull one over on Makima. I really thought his loyalties lied with.
No, but because he just said you're lying. Like you straight up just was like, you're lying. You're not on the side of humanity. You're
he went
lying.
he went like this, and he went liar. And I don't know if that means like, oh, one of his like devil contracts is being able to detect a lie, or that's just like a hand gesture he did.
Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, everybody gets sent to hell.
Because it's also mentioned he doesn't really have anything left to offer
give,
to
yeah.
devils because everything's been sold.
Yeah. But he's still a fucking badass, regardless.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
yeah,
cool.
that's part in exchange for that. Like he's sold everything.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
why he's got like, oh, some like one of Kwangxi's fiends has the power to like see what devils you're contracted with.
Yeah.
And it's like claw devil, this devil, and I assume one of those is the reason he's able to like move so fast.
Yeah, and that's where everybody, when they go to hell, everybody just starts getting murdered. And I think that's where a lot of her fiends get murdered too.
Because like
They get turned into dolls.
They get turned into dolls.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then she's
which
like,
was-
she killed my women.
that was like a creepy reveal. Like I was like freaked out by it. Where they're like, she's revealed to be a hybrid too.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, the eye patch, that's not just for show. That's how she activates her thing. And the doll devil's like, well, you were busy fighting my minions. I made some more dolls. And it's all of her fiends that were like just turned into dolls to kill
She's
her.
like, damn, that sucks. I have
Yeah,
to find new bitches now.
She's
Yeah.
like, damn, you know how hard it is to find a decent bitch in this city?
With half a brain, damn.
Damn, I
And
already...
a brain bow, damn.
It was hard enough to find those city mice, you know? Now I gotta go find me some more.
Jesus.
But it was crazy, too, to see Halloween. We finally got to see, like, what her thing was at the end of this battle, because they do get sent to hell, and then they escape hell. Now, how exactly did that happen? Where they
It was
escaped?
Makima,
Prince,
right?
The spider devil, that zipper.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the devils are like weakened and terrified in hell. So all the fiends are like begging to be able to kill themselves. Denji is like stuck in like a half devil mode and he's like wriggling on the ground. And then Makima is like, Prince, summon me. And like the spider devil like unzips and Makima comes out of it. And then she gets the new perfect doll to like sacrifice himself to like undo the thing, the contract, and send them back.
Because she has the control.
Yes, exactly. And so that's where we see Halloween's ability, right? When they get back.
After Denji beats the doll devil in the most beautiful way I've ever seen. Oh my god.
Cody, if you want someone to talk to you, just call us, dude. Like, you don't have to set up this artificial
I would
intelligence.
literally have to uninstall a button on the side.
Do
I
it.
did it. It's super easy.
No, you didn't. What kind of phone do you have?
I have a Galaxy Note 4. I have a very old phone.
It has an AI button on it?
It has a Bixby button on
God,
it.
it's so annoying. It's like, I don't know why that's not like a feature to just turn off.
I turned it off pretty easily.
Bixby.
Bixby.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I know you're trying to have this persona.
It's not a persona. It's who I am. Go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's the beautiful way you're talking about?
Because Denji's like, how do I defeat someone powered by darkness? And he gets knocked into a gas station, and he's like, oh, I got it. And he pours gasoline on himself.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like,
yeah,
you have the
yeah.
power of darkness? Well, this is the power of light. And he
Yeah.
sets himself on fire and just starts like grappling her and chaining her up and killing her.
Yeah. But it hurts him, man. It's not easy, dude. He's in a lot of pain. And at some point, it looks like it's not working at all.
No.
And then it does. But I just want to get to Halloween's thing because I loved it so much, man. Like when
Because the doll that she mentions, like, you like weakened me, but like I have dolls everywhere. You'll never be safe ever again. There's
Yes.
nothing you can do. All my dolls can move independently. I have eyes across the entire world.
Mhm.
And then Halloween, the Halloween fiend that survived is like reveals their, because usually it just says Halloween. It's like a Pokemon, and
Yeah.
but like if it says it to someone, they just go Halloween, Halloween,
yeah.
Halloween, Halloween, and that's all they can say. Now.
Oh, yeah, and then
Yeah.
she's just fucking stuck.
Well, yeah, dude, you find out that she talks like that. She can only say this one word because she knows literally every secret that the universe has to
Yeah.
offer. And it takes her into her mind. And there's just like, the camera keeps zooming out. And you just see like, you're like, oh, that's a huge library. That's a massive library. That's an infinity library. And she's like, you're about to be filled with all the knowledge of the universe and how your mind is going to just deteriorate after that.
She's
then,
not
yeah.
the devil of Halloween. She's the devil of the cosmos.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Halloween.
And that's why her brain is like leaking out of her skull. I guess it's just so huge.
I didn't think of that, but that makes a lot of sense. But what's the coolest part about it, though, is when the doll devil makes that claim, like, you're never going to be safe again. And then Halloween or the Cosmo devil shows her the secrets to the universe. She slowly starts saying Halloween. And then because she's connected to all those dolls all throughout the entire world, random people just start saying Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. And then they cover that on the news, too. But that was,
And
to
one-
me, really cool.
Yeah,
One of
that
the
was
people
cool.
saying Halloween is the last surviving brother.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that at all.
He's just in the background, and he's got the scar and everything. He's like, Halloween. And I think he's doing that as like a cover. I don't think he like got.
Oh, that's funny.
I think that's just like a way for people to be like, oh yeah, me too. Everything I did before was me being crazy. I'm safe now though.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us into the very end, right? That kind of leads us into the last arc where
Yes. Makima.
where I have a lot of questions, and I want to get to it because I feel like Cody and you, Megan, can help me out because there's some stuff that happens that I do not understand.
Yeah.
And maybe we're not supposed to understand everything right now, but there's some things that I think I'm supposed to understand that I didn't understand.
This is the Gun Devil arc. It's finally happened. We're here now. Now we can talk about it.
I don't understand why we couldn't just skip to it earlier.
Well, we couldn't just skip to the end of the series and just talk about it.
Do we really need to cover all that stuff we just covered? That was only a few things, right?
Yeah, it was just the entire plot of the manga.
I just thought we could have just, got right to the good stuff, but whatever.
Yeah, just
Episode's like 15 minutes long. Okay, thanks guys.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll just cut to the two
We're
things.
good.
Yeah,
We're good.
Yeah, let's just talk about the ending.
I mean, that made sense to me, at the time. But no, now we're finally here at the Gun Devil, right? And this is where shit gets bananas.
Because it's casually the arc is over. Everyone's like, "Oh, that was crazy." There's a few survivors. Power's like, "Oh, I was just pretending to be dead." She that's her. That she did that when Reeves attacked, and she's like, you like that? I just pretended.
Yeah.
And then when Kwanzi attacked all of them, she's like, I just pretended to be killed. I just was just laying on the ground, tired. And it's like, okay, so you're just not gonna fight anymore.
No,
okay.
that's a good tactic. That's
great
what I would
tactic.
do if I was in like a serious situation, like serial killer. I'd just be like, "You already killed me."
Especially dressed like that too.
Yeah.
And it's this is where it gets very just about the relationships that are happening now, because Power is legitimately traumatized by the Darkness Devil, and she's not at all like how she used to be, and she's very vulnerable.
He's like, Denji, walk me to the bathroom. Denji, eat with me, please. I can't go anywhere by myself.
She's like, you're mad at me? Are you mad at me? And Maki was like, Denji, now that that's all over, how about you and me? We go on vacation together. And he's like, no, Power needs me. That was a huge moment for Denji. Where he's no, I can't abandon her in this time.
And that shit.
Very interesting.
Very
relationship
interesting.
That forms
Yeah. Bath time.
Oh yeah, bath time. Yeah, I forgot about all that. I kind of don't like the way they did Power though. I don't like how she reacted that way. I get it. She was terrified or whatever, but that's Power, dude. She doesn't give a fuck about anything. You know what I mean?
It's very specifically established that fiends are terrified of the primal fears, including the Darkness Devil.
I know, but I just didn't want to see my girl Power done like that. I wanted her to be a badass through and through. I wanted her to be the exception to the rule. I wanted her to shine.
It
bright
made her
like
vulnerable.
The diamond she is.
It
Yeah.
showed her vulnerability.
And Denji has a thing too where it's normally this would seem sexual, but he's just worried about making sure she feels safe.
But
Yeah.
but it was pretty sexual.
It was a little sexual.
A 16-year-old boy would not be not turned on about anything about that.
That's why it's a huge moment, because he's not. It's mentioned, he mentions normally this seems sexual, and Power goes, sexual things scare me, but Denji's just like, okay, what do you need? Do you need me to follow you here? Are you okay? Are you good? And yeah, that's for the character that starts off doing everything to touch some boobs.
True.
Now he's right there, and he's like, I just care about Power's well-being.
Yeah, and then also the bite.
The bite was very...
Oh, yeah. But the bite kind of comes into play later, though.
No, she's like, are you mad at me? He's like, no. And she's like, then drink my blood. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. He's like, I know you hate me.
And then he does it,
He's like, okay, I'll drink your blood. And they very intimately embrace, where she wraps
her legs around him, and it gets super. That's super sexual. They were dry humping.
That's
as far
what
as
I
I'm
was
concerned.
saying.
I'm pro Power Denji.
I'm pro Power Denji too.
Yeah.
But it just felt like it was like watching a brother and a sister.
I do think that they are
together
that's their relationship. I think I don't ship them as a couple. If they end up having some sort of romantic relationship, I'm not down for that, dude.
Yeah, because they
have a sibling relationship.
Totally sibling relationship. So I was watching that, I was like,
yeah. Same,
Cody's like,
same.
shut the fuck up. That
Cody,
is
you
my
probably
OTP.
jerk off to that shit, huh?
Do you not?
Not to siblings.
Step siblings.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I've
they-
said
yeah,
that
they are.
sometimes.
Completely fine.
Everybody knows that's the top
Step
search thing
bro.
on Step
Yeah.
brother on Step brother is what I look at.
Oh.
Step
Double
brother.
step.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. And then okay. So guide us through this
It's-
arc because
Aki's
I get
like,
confused.
okay, I'm ready. Like, let's I want to go after the Gun Devil, but I want Power and Denji left out of it because now he cares about them like brother. He like their family now. He's like, I don't want them getting injured. I don't want Angel getting involved.
But I mean,
But
he knows.
and then Makima's like, okay, we're gonna have an important meeting later, and she's like, oh, the Gun Devil's been dead this whole time.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I mean, it
Yeah.
made sense. It was a kind of cool twist. That's obviously something I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
But his reaction to it just seemed like, I get you're doing it to establish what Aki's going through, but at the same time, it seemed like a big waste of time because it's like, it's this whole moment where Aki's like, I'm out. I'm done. Pull us all out. Pull me, Power, and Denji out. That's my terms, right?
Yeah.
He goes to Makima. Makima's like, the Gun Devil's been dead for years, or not dead, but captured, And you can retire or you can whatever, but Power and Denji, they're gonna get moved to a different division. And he's like, oh, okay, well then yeah, I don't quit then.
Yeah.
He's like,
And
oh
it's
yeah,
like-
okay, then I'll make a contract with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when they meet on the beach with Makima, where you get that shot of Makima.
That
where
I
you're
was
like,
laughing so hard because I remember reading it and I was like, I remember what Cody said. It's very
Right.
funny. She looks like a pea.
Yeah, she made it when she made her pact with the Squat Devil.
Oh, that's what
Squat
you were
Devil.
talking about when Makima gets thick all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
Yeah, all of a
yeah.
sudden she's like,
I
I
legitimately,
didn't even notice that.
I
though.
legitimately thought that was like she's capable of shapeshifting to like be appealing to whoever like looks at her.
But that makes sense for her character.
yeah.
Yeah,
But also
but-
she could just be like, hey, listen to me. And they're like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
Because
but-
they have no force.
Yeah.
I mean, no choice.
Yeah, yeah.
No force. No
Because
choice.
it's revealed that the Gun Devil is under control of the USA.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, baby.
You're goddamn right.
We
it
got a
is.
fucking shout out.
We got ourselves a Gun Devil.
We
over
got
here.
ourselves a chainsaw man.
I was reading about it, and gun and freedom sound like very similar in Japanese.
Say them both.
I don't know them.
Megan, pull out the phone, dude. Yeah, and I thought that was really cool too. That Aki's finding out that the gun devil is never going to be defeated. No one's ever going to defeat the gun devil. The gun devil is always going to be something that is just fought over for power, and not the fiend power.
Is it goon?
Did you say boom?
All right, which word was that?
It's goon.
What-
It's just goon.
what
It's
word was it?
gun.
That was gun?
Oh, goon.
Here we go again.
Yeah, and how is freedom going to be
Okay,
pronounced?
let me see. Let's see. Freedom. That's hilarious.
Freedom.
Goon.
freedom,
Oh.
Yep.
自由、
Goon. I guess that's like a.
Cody, though, I call
Nope.
bullshit on what you
I
just
call
said,
bullshit on that
but
goon.
yeah, I call bullshit on that goon. Where's a goon when you need one? Am I right?
Goon.
Goon. I want you in my
That's so
room.
crazy. That's just a song to play on the radio.
Together.
Is it about guns?
The boom boom. It's just a song about someone wanting to fuck someone they met at a club.
That's what 90% of R&B songs are about.
I know.
dude.
want you in my
Like I don't listen to that, so it's so crazy. Every now and then, if someone's playing, I'm like, that's insane. That's just like on the radio.
It's
Girl, I wanna
hot.
fuck you. Thank you.
Okay, but when it's like someone at my work who like blasting it from the stereo,
They're
and
looking
it's
at you.
like-
They're like,
Girl, I wanna ride you all night.
oh.
Yeah. Vroom vroom.
More
Cody-
like boom, boom.
Oh. So I didn't see Makima shapeshift. I didn't see her big ass titties and ass on the beach, but I'll take your word for it. I'll have to go back and look at that panel.
It's more ass, I think.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I never said titties.
Yeah,
That was
Okay,
all
I'm
you.
sorry.
I mean,
I
she's just like, they're bigger, but they're not like, her ass is just hilariously drawn. Like, why is she drawn like that in these scenes?
It's like even if she had the most constricting pants in the world, that
It's
like
very good.
would not have just like contained that.
Yeah, and then when he makes the contract, it's just that's where I'm like,
Well,
what?
we get a because he came with Angel. Angel he didn't get his arms. Everyone got their arms back except for because the Darkness Devil removed everyone's arms. Everyone got their arms back except for Angel, so he's just like
Aki only got one back.
And that which I was like I'm clear on the rules of like getting arms back.
Yeah.
And he has to like feed Angel like juice. He's like I can't.
It's like, I want juice.
And then Aki's like, I'll make any contract that you want. It just give me the power to save them. And she goes, okay, make a contract with me. He's like, what? Say you'll make a contract with me. He goes, I'll make a contract with you.
And the Angel's like, no.
And he remembers, because he remembers being found, like, oh, I killed an entire village.
Yeah.
And that's all. And then Makima, like, found me. And then he remembered, like, seeing Aki get controlled, he realizes, oh, I like that village like raised him, and she's like, you're such an interesting devil. Show me your power. He's like, I don't want to. It hurts people. He's like, show me your power.
Yeah.
And he just blacks out and he wakes up and his entire village is killed.
And she's like, aw, poor baby. Let's go home.
She's like, oh, look at those country mice just fucking dead. Who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah, and then she brings people back from the dead.
The people that she forces to make contracts with, she just owns them now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what I don't get. Does she own them despite them being dead? Does she still get to use their abilities? How does that work?
She
with
gets
her?
their everything, I would assume. Because when someone, like when Himeno gave up her everything, she didn't die and she lost her life. She lost her existence to the Ghost Devil.
Okay, I guess that makes a little more
So
sense.
she like contracts them specifically, give me your everything. And they're like, you can see them like chained up like around her as like she like just picks and chooses the power she wants to use. Wipes out you don't even see a Gun Devil versus Makima fight.
No, and actually,
no.
it's kind of crazy that the Gun Devil becomes who's this thing we've been waiting to get to for so long, becomes this like secondary kind of villain, and the villain is Makima, and the Gun Devil does appear, but we're not really concerned about the Gun Devil at that point. We're concerned about Makima. What I don't also understand either is Aki gone? Can Aki come back from that? Like, what's the deal with him? Because I didn't like how he went out. If he goes out like that,
That's why it's so confusing. Because you read the latest episode chapter.
Yeah.
And before, remember that? I don't want to. We're already giving everything away. When they're meeting with Denji and Makima, and they're just like chilling, and he opens the door, and then it's like.
Yeah.
Splat, and I'm like, at that point I was like, I don't know what's real and what's not.
We don't see the fight. Like we just see her like unleashing all of her powers on the Gun Devil, and he's like, what? And then it just cuts to a doorbell ringing, and then when Denji opens the door, it's just Aki with a gun sticking out of his head.
Yeah, so she turned Aki into the Gun Devil. Like,
if I had to guess, it would be she defeated that like form of the Gun Devil and forced it to like possess Aki and commanded it to go attack Denji.
And then Power opens the door,
yes,
and that was sad.
And then we have a fight where we get to see what it looks like from a someone who's possessed by a devil, similar to Demon Slayer. What they don't see things as they are. Aki sees him having a snowball fight with his little brother.
Yeah.
that was so cool.
That's his
Yeah.
purgatory, is that snowball fight. That was the last moment he ever saw any of his family. And fighting Denji, where he's like forming an assault rifle with his arm, he sees that as him like playing with Denji. And he's like, I've never had this much fun. My life has always been like, no one ever got me. It's always been stressful. But Denji, you're my friend. And they're just having a fight. And it cuts to Denji like trying to like stop. He's like telling Power to get away. Like, you have to get out of here. And it's a very, you get like kind of a moment like in Spider-Man 2, where Denji gets like knocked down, and like a group
always finds a way.
like swarms him, and he's like, oh no, they're gonna kill me. And they cut open their arms like, I've seen you before. You helped me. I saw you on the news. You helped us. And they feed him his blood, and like Aki's like still doing the snowball fight. He's like, he sees like child Denji start crying. He's like, Denji, I've never seen you cry before. And then it cuts to Denji like with a chainsaw in the middle of his gut.
Yeah.
And then the future devil's like, I said you would have the worst death possible, and it was gonna be for the chainsaw boy.
Yeah, he did say that he did say that Denji was going to kill him and Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aki, that didn't like dissuade him at all from what his plan.
No. And that's what I guess I'm saying is like, so yeah, Aki did die. But you know, it wasn't our Aki, right? Aki was gone on that beach. Like,
Yeah.
ever since he was on that beach, that's where he was gone.
I would assume that he's like, I mean, I don't know if he's like, he's a fiend now. So like, you give him blood, they can come back to life. And we've also know Denji has particularly powerful blood. So like, I don't remember seeing anything happen to the corpse.
Well, I think that's why they
know.
might have purposely left that out, because I do think maybe Aki can come back now because he's a beloved character, right? And he only had 2 years left to live. And I wonder if there's some way for him to consume Denji's blood and be regenerated.
Well, now that if he's a fiend now, he would be immortal.
Exactly.
And I thought before this happened, I thought Aki was gonna make a contract with the angel,
Right.
and he was gonna become an angel hybrid.
Mm.
I thought that was gonna be the thing, as far as like, oh, I only have this much to live, and they like that's the final result.
Still
of their,
might.
It still could, but I don't know if he's a gun
Anything
fiend
could
now.
still happen. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna
And
happen.
we
at all.
know from the violence devil or the violence fiend that you can keep your memories and your personality after becoming a fiend.
And I think Aki might come back in some sort of way. He might not have all his memories, but I think he might come back in some sort of way. He might, and I think that's why they purposely didn't show like the body and what happened in the aftermath.
All we get is Denji's like defeated, and he just goes to mock him. He's like, I can't do this anymore. He's like miserable. He's like, ice cream doesn't have taste. I can't. I'll do anything to feel okay. And she's like, will you be my dog?
He already was.
I already was. He
Yeah.
already said okay.
And then she's like, someone's at the door. And then it's Power, and she's holding a cake. And you're like, oh,
For his birthday, dude.
for his birthday.
So sad.
And
Yeah.
Megan, tell us what happens.
That was sad. I was like, fuck. She's done. She got splatted. She
Power
got
get-
Maki mud.
She got
Power gets
Makima.
blowed up by Makima.
Yeah, and then Denji's just like, and then Denji's like,
Yeah.
and then he's just,
And then Denji becomes this fucking crazy.
He doesn't believe it at first. He's like,
yeah.
I'm dreaming. This is a dream, isn't it, Makima? And she just starts laughing in his face. He's like, no, I did all of this to kill you.
Yeah.
I know about your contract with Pochita that says in order for him being your heart, you have to show him your dreams. I'm going to make sure you can never do that. Anytime anyone can introduce you to any sort of happiness, I will kill them. And I'll make sure you can't live any happiness life. That's going to break your contract with Pochita.
Fuck Makima. Fuck
Everything I
Makima,
did,
fuck
I knew you would bond with
Makima.
Aki. I knew you'd become close with Power. I gave you that so I could take it away, and I'll do it again.
Yeah.
And that's when Denji, like,
Snaps. He says, fuck it.
He's I think that's when Denji dies.
Okay. Go more into that.
We were talking about that in the very first episode, that the series could go on after Denji died, because Pochita agreed to be his heart, but if Denji dies, Pochita's still there. And by her telling him and him believing that he'll never be able to fulfill his contract, by devil law, that contract is now broken.
Mm.
So now it's like Denji's dead, and it's just Pochita.
Yeah.
And Pochita is a nice dog, but when it's a devil, it does not know how to be nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're at in the story. There are some things that happen, obviously, after that.
I thought
he turns crazy. Like, he turns into this, and you say that's what you think the death of Denji is, right? You said that like Denji is pretty much gone now, right? And he turns into this like super demonic looking version of Chainsaw Man.
I thought that was also part of the whole like anti-shonen thing that this series is.
Yeah.
Because Denji gets his like ultimate power up. He gets that scarf, super armor, super powerful.
He looks like Greninja from fucking Pokemon.
He gets that super mode, and it's like
He does look like Grenade.
it's when he's defeated and like done for that he gets his ultra mode that does not help the situation at all.
No, and then he's involved too because she wants him to eat her. What's his? Yeah,
we
what's
find
the-
out why everyone cares about getting the Chainsaw Devil's heart, which also turns out his heart is just Pochita.
Yeah.
Aw,
So-
my heart's Pochita too.
My heart's Pochita too.
Everyone wants his heart because the power that the Pochita has is they also I don't think he's just a chainsaw demon. I
No.
think chainsaws are just its weapon, and its power that it has is any devil it consumes. The fear that represents goes away, and the concept that it represents goes away too. Because Makima's explaining to Kishibe where he's just holding her with a pistol, and he's like, "I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna do everything I can." And she's like, "I mean, did you ever hear about what the Nazis did to the Jews?" And he's like, "What's a Nazi?"
Yeah.
Because Pochita ate the Nazi demon. Nazis ceased to exist in that world.
Yeah.
And Makima reveals her plan, which makes her not necessarily evil.
Thanos. She's Thanos'd it up.
But
Which
she's still
is-
evil.
If she can control anything she considers below herself, which is why Kishibe apparently can't be mind controlled because he's like a very powerful fighter. And I think it's really interesting that Kobeni also is not mind controlled. And we know that she's an insanely powerful fighter who just refuses to fight most of the time. And her plan is, if I can defeat she considers Chainsaw Man to be Pochita. And I think the idea is she was never in love with like Denji. That was all a game. But she is in love with Pochita. But she's like, because I respect him so much, I can't control him. So if I can beat him in a fight, now that it's me and him, I can control him. I can tell him to eat. The devil of hunger, the devil of war. I can make a utopia for this world.
And that's kind of where we're at now. There's a lot of unknowns, right? Like, this is all speculative at this point. Like, we don't know what's going to happen to Denji. We don't even know. There is that scene where Denji gets fucking thrown out into outer space and then rips out Pochita.
Well, yeah, because that's not Denji.
Well,
Everything,
yeah.
this Chainsaw Man now, in that insectoid armor, that is pure Pochita. Because it tries to live Denji's dreams, which is a beautiful scene where it tries to get a hamburger. Because it starts having flashbacks of and it's like, hamburger, because it remembers him saying it wanted a hamburger. Because I think Pochita's plan is, if I can go fulfill his dreams, he can come back to life.
Yeah.
Because that's the contract is, show me your dreams. So if I can see those dreams happening, we can restore him to life. But it's a devil now. So it's like hamburger, and it goes into a shop where we finally get the glorious return of Kobeni.
Yeah, Kobeni, which we did talk a lot about in the first episode, her working at the hamburger joint.
And they're all like, just fucking go take. And she's like, why me? They're like, just fucking go.
Yeah.
She's like, oh shit.
She
Let me
likes-
go get another one.
She spills his meal.
Spills twice.
And every
Twice.
time she does it, Pochita kills one of the people working there.
Yeah.
And then he kidnaps her.
And she's
And he
like,
kidnaps her and makes
she's
her
like,
play
he
Dance Dance
wanted-
Revolution.
he wanted to go on a date and play video games. And so she's like, why me?
Like this is as good as this guy
Yeah.
can kill me.
She's absolutely crushing it at Dance Dance Revolution while crying the whole time. And then she's like, oh, I got a perfect score.
Looking at it through that lens, though, of that being Pochita and him trying to live out Denji's dreams is way more beautiful. Once I see it that way, because when I first read it, I was a little confused as to what exactly was happening, and now that you explain it to me that way, it does hit me completely different. And I do think, obviously, that's what it is. I just, for whatever reason, was confused by it. But yeah,
Denji's whole motive was he's not just trying to be happy for the sake of it. Like the whole thing about, I want to touch boobs. Like even that, which is hilariously shallow, but then it's really not, because it's that's that small desire he has. That's not just for him. That's an obligation he has to his best friend.
yeah,
And that's how he views every part of trying to live and just do everything he wants, is because it's an obligation to his friend who gave up their life for his.
yeah.
And now it's the Pochita still is like, I would rather him be alive than me being like back.
Yeah. And we see that in the most current, as of recording this chapter, in chapter 90, where
he's so cute.
And later,
he finds
I missed
power.
him
I
when he's
know.
talking.
We get the glorious return of power because of the blood, because it's established Pochita's power is consuming devils. It's like, I consumed you, you're in like the nether space of my stomach or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I need you to save Denji. And Power's like,
Yeah, no,
of course I'll
totally.
save him.
Yeah, I promise.
He's
totally
my
promise.
partner.
He's my
Yeah.
buddy.
I'm gonna get out of here,
And
I'm
we
gonna
finally
save his ass.
we finally get Power entering a fight again, and then it's like, oh, this is the application of her training that she got in the Zarks, where it's like her super devil form, like making like blood spears happen
That
to
was
everyone.
cool.
And she's like, Makima sucks.
Yeah.
I'm number one.
Yeah.
And like Makima goes for an attack, and she's like 1,000-year blood rain, and like is beating up Makima, and is like, oh yeah. This
Oh
series-
yeah, this is great. And then Makima's like, "Hey, can I just have Denji back?" And she's like, "Oh no, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Here you go. Yeah. This is I wasn't trying to do anything anyway."
She's being controlled, right? Obviously.
No,
No.
I'm under the assumption this is a plan she has.
Yeah.
That
I
Power
don't-
has.
I don't think she's actually like, oh yeah, that's a thing she does. Is she like, yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I meant to do that. But she's like crying over this situation. And she's getting like blown up by Makima.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, you can have him. And Makima's like, yeah.
Cool.
But I'm assuming there's gonna be a reveal that either she's like, okay, but now for the reveal, or Kobeni's gonna turn out to like,
Yeah, there's a plan. So like, and you Pochita's just like, fuck. God
Yeah.
damn it, Power.
It's so funny. He's so pissed off. He's like, "What the fuck are
what
you
did
doing?
we just talk about?
We just talked about this."
What?
But yeah, and that's kind of where we're at now. So I guess, Cody, to wrap up this episode, I do want to ask you kind of your some closing thoughts. But what do you want to say?
the final like anti-shonen thing that happens is when Makima reveals that like her plan was to make him like beloved by the population.
Oh yeah. At the
And so,
end
like,
with the chainsaws.
During Pochita's like big fight where that like he's being hit with everything, like by so many hybrids returning characters, that I'm like, okay, well, I'm for Power Denji unless something's happening, and then it's like, okay, well then never mind that. But you get like you get scenes of like people cheering on the Chainsaw Man. They're like, yeah, we love you, do it. But like because he's the devil, that makes him weaker.
Yes.
So you
Yes,
get the
yes,
opposite
yes.
of like spirit bombs, where it's like cheer him on and he'll get strong. It's like he's like he loses everything he has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like I said, I did kind of see that coming, but I also thought it was very cleverly done. I think that's fucking amazing. I think this entire series is just it continues to just get better and better and better. I never lost interest. Once you're in, and time flies when you're reading it. It's such a good show, and when you dissect it, when you start to really see the layers, it just becomes even better. Talking about it with you guys,
And the artwork around the devil. The doll devil woman starts taking a hit, and I was like, maybe that's why I was like, maybe he just doesn't care anymore. And then I realized, oh right, he writes and draws this.
yeah.
And the coronavirus exists.
It's a lot of
So
work.
Yeah.
like he's understaffed and still doing this every week.
Yeah.
So like the background scenes aren't like filled in as much as they used to be, but I mean he doesn't have. I mean, there's a global pandemic happening.
That too, that's a big part of it too. But that's what happens. Like a lot of like Tite Kubo, who draws Bleach, he got under a lot of fire because his backgrounds and his drawings became more simplified as time went on. But I think, and his story suffered too. But I think it was just him kind of finding the best way to draw, the quickest way to draw without giving all this information. What was the most necessary thing that needed to be shown? And he could kind of just like forget about everything else. A lot of white backgrounds. And people are like, "What the fuck?" But
the writing of this never takes a drop.
Never.
I would say the artwork kind of does, and I'm under the impression where it's like a lot of fights are sort of skipped over. Like the gun, we don't see any gun devil fight. We don't really see Pochita as the chainsaw devil really like doing anything. It's always just like cut to the next page. The thing it's fighting is destroyed. I'm hoping if it's animated, they're actually gonna just include the fights and be like, yeah, look, there was a global pandemic when this was written, so he couldn't do this. But okay, here's him doing stuff now.
Where do you? I guess because we're coming up on over 2 hours, so we got to wrap it up as quickly as we can, for fear of the equipment overheating or shutting off,
Or a Chainsaw Man.
or a Chainsaw Man coming. Where do you see this series going? You're still obviously super on board with it. Both of you, like how
Now, Fire Punch only went up to 8 volumes. We're at 8 volumes in this right now. The story could be about to end, but I could see this becoming a story about when a main character dies in a story, like that's really important to establish like stakes. But whenever someone comes back, I'm not upset. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could see this story becoming about them like, okay, now we have to. The real threat this whole time was Makima, and then he can kind of return to being a shonen story as far as like, we'll take out our goons, we'll take out our laxes, we have to defeat her, we have to set up these things, and it could become like what the Gun Devil was sort of set up as being before it was revealed. That was all everything was sort of just the villain's plan.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, well now we do have the real villain. We have a team of people that like got power, went through all these things, and that could go on for years, or the story could end in like a couple of chapters.
Yeah.
My favorite part about Chainsaw Man altogether is just like I can't predict anything that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like rarely will I be right about something like, oh, Makima, sure, but I didn't even still know what her fucking deal was until they said it. So I am very excited to see where the story goes because I can't predict anything. I don't know what's going to happen, and that's like super exciting.
Yeah, I think this is going to quickly. It's already become such a huge manga. And I think people are already falling in love with it, and have been falling in love with it. But I think it's going to be just based on the quality of the writing, and yeah, maybe the art will dip up and down due to like the circumstances of the world, I guess. But this manga is going to be a classic. This manga is going to be, and is already, I think, something that people are going to love for a really long time. And whether it gets that like notoriety to become like a One Piece or a Naruto, I think regardless, it'll be a cult classic that people will love and recommend, to all their friends, and they should. Like, it's so well done. It flips, the script, and it turns the genre on its head in so many ways, and it explores farther these character moments and these tropes. It kind of takes them a step further and makes them more real and relatable. And it's not even done yet. The story's not even over yet. And as long as it continues to the writing quality of the writing continues to be as good as it's been, this is gonna be one of the best manga that I can have said I've read in recent years.
Even when the artwork kind of takes a dip, it's still way better than what you'll get in most comic books coming out right now. That's also the difference in quality between like manga and comic books is insane, including artwork, where it's like one guy on his own is better than an entire team doing whatever character they're doing at Marvel.
Yeah,
and you're like, and you find out that like a lot of Marvel comics, they don't even draw it most of the time. They have like programs of like 3D like things they can set up, and then it's like,
no, but this is one dude who writes this story, who's pouring his fucking heart, sweat, tears into this series.
And he like even when it's like the backgrounds aren't drawn, it's like, well, the Darkness Devil's like a theme, so it's like when a panel is like pure black, it's like, all right, fine, like it's still kind of incorporated for a bit, and then it's like, well, that's kind of.
And it's art that I've always said that like adds to the story. It's art that the grunginess of it sometimes really adds to like the grunginess of Denji in this world and everything. And I think everything about it is amazing. We have a giveaway that we have to announce, by the way.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to hold these up for everybody to see.
Yeah.
I got we each bought one. And then I bought my own copy.
I'll hold mine, and then you guys hold yours. And if you didn't know, if you didn't know, it's too late. But we were giving away 3 volumes of Chainsaw Man, and is that a chainsaw? Exactly. Yeah, boy. Where my Denji's at? We're giving away 3 volumes of Chainsaw Man. All you had to do was leave a comment phonetically spelling what you think the sound of a chainsaw is, subscribe to our channel, and a bunch of other things. But we do have our 3 winners that we're going to announce. And for the sake of anonymity, I guess I will leave out their last names, even though that is the name of their YouTube account, so everybody can see it.
Drum roll, Cody.
So winner number 1 is Gricia Para, who I said I was going to leave her last name out, and I didn't.
No, it's okay.
What was her?
They went with
Okay.
Solid choice.
Solid noise.
Solid.
noise.
choice. Our second winner is, I believe, I'm just gonna say ELSV. I don't know how you say that. Elzv. I don't know.
Elves.
Elzv. ELSV is.
Oh
is
yeah,
the winner.
ELSV.
Elves. Yeah, they went with. I had to spell this one out, and I got this exactly letter by letter, and it is. Vroom.
Another solid choice.
Another solid.
Another solid choice. And our final winner is, I believe, Miriam Guerrero.
And this is probably the best one for phonetics, which is.
So are you saying Miriam? All 3 of them won a copy of Chainsaw Man Volume 1. But are you saying that Miriam won your heart?
No, I'm saying she spelled it phonetically the best.
No, I think you said Miriam won your heart too.
And I want you to. One of these copies I had to get, and I want you to appreciate the sheer stress.
Oh
I
my
went under.
God, this fucking guy.
Getting copies.
Not stressful at all.
It was incredibly stressful. The reason I don't like going places. I went to a comic book shop. They had we have a manga shelf, which was just Attack on Titan.
It's only just
That's
4.
all manga is, according to everybody.
And
Yeah,
I was like,
true.
okay, you know what? I'm sorry for trying to support local businesses. I'll go to Barnes & Nobles. They didn't have it in the shelves. I had to go ask for help. I had to wait for 5 minutes to have help. They walked me over, and they couldn't find it. Someone else got called over to help. A crowd formed like, Chainsaw Man? What's Chainsaw Man? Oh, I've never heard of Chainsaw. Is that a good series? I heard that's a good series. Oh, we should get Chainsaw Man. They had it in the back. Then they didn't have it in the back. And then I finally got 2 copies. And then these people's like, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and get me another copy, which I did not do.
But he got it. All
Yay!
right. Cody.
Congratulations to the winner.
Yeah, congratulations to the 3 winners. Cody, you could have got us one too, but no big deal.
You guys could have gotten your own too.
Congratulations to the 3 winners. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. This is a very special bonus episode where we review, instead of reviewing the first volume, we review an entire series, or at least up until where that series is currently at. This has been the Chainsaw Man edition of that, part 2. Thank you guys for watching part 1 and responding so positively to that. That's the reason we're doing part 2 and doing this giveaway. We love you guys so much. Make sure to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment. We want to do more giveaways in the future. We want to give away more manga, maybe not just in our complete series review, but also in our volume 1 reviews as well. We'll give away the first volume that we do talk about. So if you like it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up too. And it's been a long one, but thank you for sticking around. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. It's time to go out on our outro that you got it, that always stays the same and never changes.
Halloween.
Oh, that's pretty solid. I was
Halloween?
going to say fuck Makima, but
Oh, that's good too.
Halloween is solid.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween. Halloween.
We'll say it 3 times.
Okay.
Okay? Right? I didn't what?
What?
We'll say it 3 times, and that'll be it. All right. Thank you guys for watching another episode. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, all that. We love you guys, especially if you stuck around this long. Happy Halloween, and until next time,
Halloween.
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 And now we're going to list everyone who did not win.
Okay, here are the
Cody's
losers.
so number
Pull up